Chapter 4689. Every undead warrior had a 9-dragon inscription monarch weapon. Since they were redundant and could only be looked at, they might as well strengthen the undead warriors. They were loyal guards who would never betray him. After doing all that, Ling Xiao stepped on the road to Golden City. He had already solved the biggest problem, so he could leave the rest to his subordinates. He believed in Haim, Miang Ko, and Jiang Nan's ability. Of course, before he left, he healed Zhao Fengyin and the rest. This time, he brought back many treasures from the Tomb of the Gods. There were also many more pills that could be refined. Even the two who were left with only their inner cores and had their bodies completely destroyed had rebuilt their bodies. After doing all that, Ling Xiao left with Yang Shi and Yu Fanghua. Yang Shi knew the way to Golden City, so it wasn't a problem for her to lead the way. In Golden City, there was a place called Warlord Hall. Forefathers Scarlet Flame and Green Lotus Swordswoman were imprisoned there. The atmosphere in Warlord Hall today was a little heavy. Warlord Huang Jinlan went into seclusion immediately after returning from the chaotic Sand Ocean. No one knew what triggered him. At that moment, news came from 3,000 sacred cities that Warlord Alliance was annihilated. All the divine physique realm experts were killed. This made the people of Warlord Hall extremely terrified. In order to take over 3,000 sacred cities, Warlord Hall sent 90% of the experts there. There were only 10 divine physique realm experts in Warlord Hall. The strongest one was at the 3rd level of the divine physique realm. If Warlord Hall didn't come out of seclusion, the situation would be very dangerous. Huang Jintong, who was at the 3rd level of the divine physique realm, looked at Warlord Hall's dungeon coldly. Bring Scarlet Flame and Green Lotus out. Just in case, I have to keep these two guys under my nose. Huang Jintong was the strongest existence in Warlord Hall other than Huang Jinlan. Forefathers Scarlet Flame and Green Lotus Swordswoman were imprisoned in the dungeon, so he couldn't be at ease. Huang Jinlan, you bastard, let me go. The voice was heard before the person arrived. It was obvious that it was Forefathers Scarlet Flame. Huang Jintong frowned. Chihua, you'd better shut up. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. How dare you insult the warlord? How many heads do you have? Almost all the experts of the Champion Hall had come out. According to the time, about 10 days had passed since the incident in the 3,000 holy cities. In other words, Ling Xiao could come here at any time. They had to be on guard. Green Lotus Swordswoman sharply noticed Huang Jintong's nervousness and even fear. She could not help but laugh. Huang Jintong, why do you look so scared? Are you afraid because the Fire Emperor is coming? Cut the crap. The Flame Emperor and the Battle Emperor were both kings of the City of Gold. The Battle King's father, Huang Jinding, was a supreme king like the Fire King. If the Fire Emperor dared to come, Master Huang Jinding would definitely not stand by and do nothing. Save it. Huang Jintong was extremely agitated. He was really unhappy. They didn't even fear the Flame Emperor, yet they had to fear a stinking brat. What kind of situation was this? No, you're clearly afraid. What are you afraid of? Green Lotus Swordswoman was smart enough to notice Huang Jintong's uneasiness and anxiety. Afraid? Why would I be afraid? I'm just happy. Huang Jintong sneered. That young masterling Xiao you're talking about might come here to save you soon. Don't you think I should be happy? That brat even dared to touch the people of the Battle Emperor Hall. This time we must kill him. Young master. Hearing this, Forefather Crimson Flame was obviously anxious. Bastard, didn't the young master go to the chaotic Sand Ocean? Why is he here? Your great young master came back alive from the chaotic Sand Ocean. He probably knew about your matter, so he came here. So, the two of you should obediently be hostages. I want you to watch that brat be killed. The more Huang Jintong spoke, the more confident he became. No matter how strong Ling Xiao was, could he be stronger than the Battle Emperor? Although the Battle Emperor was in seclusion, if the Battle Emperor Hall was in trouble, he would definitely come out. Moreover, he had Forefather Crimson Flame and Green Lotus Swordswoman as hostages. So what if Ling Xiao came? He still had to hold back. Thinking of this, he gradually stopped being so nervous. A vicious plan took shape in his heart. Men, tie those two guys to the square and set up a formation around them. Guard them strictly. Just wait for Ling Xiao to come and die. Huang Jingtong sneered. Huang Jingtong, UF** King Bastard. Kill me if you have the ability. Forefather Crimson Flame roared. Slap. Huang Jingtong slapped Forefather Crimson Flame's face from dozens of meters away. What's the use of howling now? It won't be long before you all die. Even the Fire Emperor won't be alive. This golden city belongs to our golden family. Who do you think Huang Jingtong will side with? Forefather Crimson Flame's face was swollen as he looked at Huang Jingtong with an extremely vicious gaze. I won't let you go even if I become a ghost. Become a ghost? Ha ha. Even if you want to become a ghost, you have to wait for your young master to do it together. Don't worry. Huang Jingtong laughed. Green Lotus Swordswoman didn't say a word at this time. When the two were tied to the execution rack, Green Lotus Swordswoman whispered to Forefather Crimson Flame, now that our cultivation has been crippled, we can't do anything. So, let's just wait quietly. I believe in the young master. But Green Lotus, the young master has only been away for 2 months. Even if his strength has improved, it can't be that strong. Forefather Crimson Flame smiled bitterly. No, have you forgotten? The young master is a top genius in this world. His cultivation speed absolutely can't be estimated with common sense. You can tell just by looking at Huang Jingtong's frightened look. The young master must have done something that made him afraid. Green Lotus Swordswoman analyzed. Now that you mention it, it's true. Then we'll wait. Forefather Crimson Flame had no choice. Whether he believed Green Lotus Swordswoman's analysis or not, he could only wait. Hee, you two still have expectations for that kid? Let me tell you the truth. The reason why I'm afraid is because of Valkyrie Yangshi. He was with Ling Xiao before and killed the experts of our Warlord Hall. But I just received news that Yang Shi appeared in the Fire Lord Hall. After all, she is also one of the kings of the Golden City. She doesn't dare to act recklessly in the Golden City. As for that Ling Xiao, he's just a piece of trash. Do you think I'm afraid of him? Beat him up. As long as you don't kill him, you can beat him however you want. I just want Ling Xiao to see their bloody faces. That's how satisfying it is. Huang Jingtong felt that his frightened look just now was too embarrassing, so he wanted to vent. At this moment, a figure approached at lightning speed. Huang Jingtong closed his mouth and looked into the distance. His body suddenly stood up. Damn, he really dares to come. Chapter 4690. Huang Jingtong had seen Ling Xiao's portrait before, so he recognized the person at a glance. Keep an eye on those two guys. Huang Jingtong flew over and stood in front of Green Lotus Swordswoman and Ancestor Scarlet Flame. Although there was a formation set up in the square, he was still worried. That figure suddenly stopped. He looked at Huang Jingtong coldly, and a terrifying murderous aura covered the sky. Ancestor Scarlet Flame and Green Lotus Swordswoman both looked at Ling Xiao. Young master. Both of them looked a little ashamed. Seeing Ling Xiao's cultivation, they felt that they might as well die. Ling Xiao was only at the 7th level of the Shattered Core Realm. With such a cultivation base, how could he possibly be a match for these guys? If they died, Ling Xiao wouldn't have to come here to die. Young master, leave quickly. You're no match for them. Ancestor Scarlet Flame roared. Ling Xiao shook his head gently and didn't say anything. It was unnecessary to say anything now. It was better to prove it with strength. He thought that after slaughtering Scarlet Sun's sacred city, he wouldn't be so angry anymore. But when he saw Ancestor Scarlet Flame and Green Lotus Swordswoman, the murderous aura in his heart condensed again. So what if they were from Warlord Hall? They would still be slaughtered. So you're the Emperor's son, personally conferred by Dizun. I think you're just SOO. How can you be the Emperor's son with such a low cultivation? Dizun must be senile. The people of Warlord Hall were dissatisfied and disrespectful to Huang Jingtong because they had always wanted Huang Jinding, the warlord's father, to ascend the throne. Are you done? Then let Ancestor Scarlet Flame and Green Lotus, Swordswoman, go. Maybe I can spare your lives and cripple all of you. Ling Xiao said coldly. How arrogant. Huang Jingtong snorted coldly. Kill him. He waved his hand, and hundreds of martial artists above the 8th level of the Shattered Core realm all charged at Ling Xiao. After seeing Ling Xiao's cultivation, Huang Jingtong relaxed. He was even a little contemptuous. He felt that the news that came back from the chaotic desert sea was most likely fabricated by someone. He wanted to exaggerate Ling Xiao's strength, so that Ling Xiao could become the emperor. Therefore, a group of core-shattering realm warriors who were much stronger than Ling Xiao was obviously more than enough. Looks like the negotiations have broken down. Ling Xiao revealed a cold smile. If that's the case, then we can only kill him. Facing hundreds of core fragmentation realm warriors, Ling Xiao threw out a talisman. Wild Thunder Hell Talisman. He couldn't even be bothered to kill these people. He had once snatched the Wild Thunder Purgatory Talisman from someone else. Martial artists below the Divine Body realm simply couldn't withstand it. Terrifying lightning fell from the sky. Hundreds of people were instantly charred black by the electricity. All of them died tragically. At that moment, the Battle King Hall was deathly silent. Huang Jingtong's face darkened. No wonder you're so arrogant. So it's because you have such a talisman. However, although this spirit talisman could kill a core fragmentation realm martial artist, it was ineffective against a divine body realm martial artist. You're just putting up a desperate struggle. The result is meaningless. Huang Jingtong sneered. Although many of his subordinates had died, he suddenly felt relaxed instead. Ling Xiao might not be as scary as he imagined. Indeed, rumors couldn't be trusted. I'm not playing with you anymore. Saving people is more important. Ling Xiao knew very well that killing people was secondary. The key was to save Patriarch Crimson Flame and Green Lotus Swordswoman as soon as possible. Otherwise, it would be a little troublesome. The reason why he used the Wild Thunderhell Talisman was also for one purpose, which was to show weakness, to make the other party feel that he didn't have any strength. Therefore, there was no need to be afraid. As for the array formation in the square, he didn't care at all. Ling Xiao, who had a body equivalent to an emperor artifact with 8 dragon patterns, this kind of array formation couldn't hurt him at all. Holy ground, demonic shadow! Taking advantage of the moment when the other party underestimated him, Ling Xiao suddenly used a movement technique and disappeared on the spot. Stop him! Huang Jingtong instantly understood Ling Xiao's purpose. He hurriedly ordered. Unfortunately, it was already too late. Ling Xiao's sword pierced through the body of a divine body, first-level martial artist, who was guarding Patriarch Crimson Flame and Green Lotus Swordswoman. Then he saved both of them at the same time and kept them in the Dongsheng Emperor Ring. However, the array formation's effect had already been activated. The terrifying fire dragon roared and pounced towards Ling Xiao. In an instant, it completely enveloped Ling Xiao. Ha ha ha, Ling Xiao, you probably didn't expect it, right? Although you're very smart and know how to make us underestimate the enemy and then take the opportunity to save people. But you didn't expect that we've set up an array formation and are waiting for you to enter it. Emperor? What a joke. Warlord, there's no need to be nervous at all. Huang Jingtong was in a good mood. He had killed Ling Xiao, who was rumored to be a god, so easily. He felt really happy. However, in the next moment, he couldn't feel happy anymore. The flames dissipated. Ling Xiao was still standing in the air with a faint smile on his face, as if nothing had happened. This scared everyone out of their wits. Even a martial artist at the first level of the divine body realm would be killed by that array formation. Even a martial artist at the second level of the divine body realm would be injured. However, Ling Xiao was completely unharmed. What the hell was this? It was simply unacceptable. Patriarch Scarlet Flame, Sister Qinglian, there are many newly refined spirit pills in my Dongsheng Emperor Ring. They can help you repair your meridians and recover your cultivation. They can even break through. However, whether you can break through or not depends on your own luck. Anyway, General Zhao Fengyin not only recovered his cultivation, but also broke through. He's now a divine body realm martial artist. Ling Xiao completely ignored the shocked expressions of Huang Jingtong and the rest. He was still talking to Patriarch Scarlet Flame and Qinglian Swordswoman in the Dongsheng Emperor Ring. Don't worry about this first, young master. This is the Warlord Hall after all. It's never too late for us to take revenge. Let's go to the Fire King Hall first. Patriarch Scarlet Flame hurriedly said. Patriarch Scarlet Flame, do you still not understand? I'm here to destroy the Warlord Hall today. Warlord Huang Jinlan wanted to kill me before, but the person he sent was a piece of trash. He was killed by me instead. Now he's even doing this to you. Huang Jindi doesn't care about this, but I do. It was impossible for Ling Xiao to endure. There was no need for him to endure. So what if he killed the warlord and offended someone stronger? He would still kill. All right, it's time for you to die. Ling Xiao entered the peerless heavenly rat beast soul transformation state. He released the sun god's blood formation. He held the reverse god sword and the crimson blood demon sword. This was exactly how he looked when he massacred Scarlet Sun, Holy City, that day. However, his strength had increased by 10 times today. He was even stronger than that day. Therefore, his advantage against a first-level divine body realm martial artist was even more obvious. Pretentious, kill him! The 3 first-level divine body realm martial artists roared and pounced towards Ling Xiao. At this moment, Patriarch Scarlet Flame and Qinglian Swordswoman's hearts were tense. They didn't even have the mood to swallow pills. Those were 3 divine body realm martial artists. Ling Xiao was only at the 7th level of the Shattered Core Realm. Could he block them? However, what surprised them was that Ling Xiao held 2 swords in his hands, but he didn't make any moves to attack. The 3 people had already arrived in front of him in an instant, until the other party was within a meter of him. The Void God sword in Ling Xiao's right hand released a sword light. End of this chapter. Chapter 4691. God-defying art, one-word form. It contained heaven-defying sword intent, killing 3 people with 1 strike. The one-word form had finally advanced from the rudimentary stage to the initial stage. Perhaps because it was too profound, the difficulty of cultivating this one-word form was much higher than the beast god sky-devouring flash. Ling Xiao's beast god sky-devouring flash was cultivated later, and it had already reached the initial stage in the chaotic sand ocean. 3 corpses fell from the sky. When they were in midair, they had already turned into dried corpses. This scene made everyone in the Warlord Hall suffocate. Very surprised, right? Ling Xiao chuckled and said, You shouldn't be surprised. Logically speaking, Huang Jinlan should have already told you all about my strength, right? Why are you so surprised? I've even killed a 3rd-level divine body realm martial artist before. Is killing 3 first-level divine body realm martial artists worthy of being so surprised? Go to hell. Suddenly, a 1st-level divine physique echelon martial artist appeared behind Ling Xiao. The sharp spear directly pierced towards Ling Xiao's back. This spear was enough to collapse a small mountain. However, it didn't cause any injuries on Ling Xiao's body. Instead, the attack was repelled by the terrifying true origin, and his body directly exploded. Blood rained down from the sky. *CK, how did you cultivate? Forefather Scarlet Flame was completely dumbfounded. He now felt that his worries were extremely laughable. Ling Xiao was so powerful. Was there a need for him to worry? Looks like we've all gotten old. Sword Maiden Green Lotus smiled bitterly and said, Young Master has already reached the level where he can make the 4 regions and 9 worlds change. If old Master Hong knew about this, he would definitely be very happy. However, he shouldn't be a match for Huang Jinlan, right? I think it's better to slip away. Forefather Scarlet Flame was still a little worried. Don't think so much. Let's recover our strength as soon as possible if we can break through. Maybe we can even help young Master a little. Young Master knows what he's doing outside, so it's meaningless for us to guess blindly. As Sword Maiden Green Lotus spoke, she had already started looking for medicine in the neat pill cabinet at the side. The names and effects of the pills were clearly marked on these cabinets. Therefore, it was easy to find them. The 4 of you wield the 4 Emperor armaments of the Warlord Hall and form the Warlord's killing formation. Kill him. At this moment, Huang Jintong roared. Ling Xiao looked at the monarch weapon in his opponent's hand. He couldn't help but smile. The so-called 4 monarch armaments were actually 4 monarch armaments with 3 dragon patterns. Whether it was the Void God sword in Ling Xiao's hand or the Crimson Blood Demon sword, they could be easily cut apart. The other party was truly ignorant and foolish. The remaining 4 martial artists at the first level of the Divine Body Echelon immediately set up a battle formation. It formed a strange array diagram. Its power was not small at all. If a martial artist at the second level of the Divine Physique Echelon was trapped inside and didn't have an Emperor weapon with 4 dragon patterns or more in his hands, he would definitely die. He probably wouldn't be able to survive. However, Ling Xiao had deliberately stepped into the enemy's battle formation. Ling Xiao looked at Huang Jintong provocatively. You guys are outdated. From now on, Golden City will belong to me, Ling Xiao. Kill him. Huang Jintong roared. The 4 Divine Body Realm martial artists activated the killing array and were about to attack. However, at that moment, Ling Xiao swung the Crimson Blood Demon sword in his hand. In an instant, the 4 of them became 4 corpses. As for the 4 monarch armaments with 3 dragon patterns, Ling Xiao naturally had to keep them. He didn't need them, but it didn't mean that his subordinates didn't need them. Now, the people around you are all dead. It's your turn now, isn't it? Ling Xiao looked at Huang Jintong in disdain. This martial artist at the 3rd level of the Divine Body Echelon was as timid as a mouse. Brat, you're too arrogant. Do you know that you won't be far from death for what you've done today? Huang Jintong still didn't attack. He wasn't confident that he could win. Therefore, he changed it to a threat. You won't know whether I'm dead or not. After all, you're going to die now. Ling Xiao smiled and changed to the monarch physique. He was no match for a martial artist at the 3rd level of the Divine Body Echelon. He could only rely on the monarch physique. Huang Jintong looked at Ling Xiao, who was walking toward him slowly, and he was shocked. Was this brat really crazy? Since the day the Warlord Hall was established, they had never encountered such an incident. All the martial artists at the 1st level of the Divine Body Echelon were killed. All the martial artists at the 2nd level of the Divine Body Echelon were killed. The martial artists below the Divine Body Echelon suffered heavy losses as well. It wasn't that the other party couldn't kill the remaining ones, but that he couldn't be bothered to kill them. Now, the only ones who could fight in the Warlord Hall were Huang Jintong and the Warlord Huang Jinlan. But why hadn't the Warlord appeared yet? Huang Jintong was indeed afraid. From the combat power Ling Xiao displayed just now, it was impossible for a martial artist at the 1st level of the Divine Body Echelon to be his match. What cultivation level did this brat have? Therefore, the only thing he could do now was to threaten and stall for time. He stared at Ling Xiao fiercely and said, You're only able to enjoy a moment of pleasure now. You don't know what you're about to face. Strictly speaking, You're not a disciple of the Golden City yet. But you killed the disciples of the Warlord Hall wantonly, so you'll definitely be punished by the Punishment Hall. The Punishment Hall is the punishment organization of the Golden City, and it gathers the strongest martial artists of the Warlord Hall. You won't have any chance of survival if you encounter them, even if you have the Fire Emperor as your backer. Even if you have Valkyrie Yangshi helping you, it's useless. Oh, right, maybe you won't even be punished by the Punishment Hall. Once the Warlord comes out, you'll definitely die. Hearing that, Patriarch Crimson Flame and Green Lotus, Swordswoman, started to worry again. Maybe Ling Xiao was already very strong, but he shouldn't be able to become an enemy of the powerful Punishment Hall. He might not even be a match for the Warlord. What should they do? Should they really betray the Golden Sky region? So be it if you want to stall for time. You don't have to talk so much to suppress me. Do you think I'm afraid? No matter how strong the Punishment Hall is, can it be stronger than the Warlord Huang Jintian? I'm not even afraid of the Warlord Huang Jintian. So why would I be afraid of the puny Punishment Hall? As for the Warlord, I hope he comes out quickly so that we can deal with him together and avoid trouble. Ling Xiao sneered. You're really arrogant. You don't even put Huang Jindi in your eyes. Although Huang Jintong was stalling for time, what he said was the truth. Hearing Ling Xiao's reply, he really thought that Ling Xiao was crazy. It's up to you whether you believe it or not. But now, before the Warlord comes out, I'll use you as entertainment. Ling Xiao decided to make his move. He was currently in the body of the Sovereign. Therefore, he had the cultivation of the third level of the Divine Body Realm. Although he was temporarily unable to use the Tyrant Martial Soul, the 12-Beast God Martial Soul, and the special skills of the Martial Soul. But he could still use the martial skills that his main body knew. Beast God Sky Devouring Flash. Reverse God Art Linear Form. There were no problems at all. Ling Xiao put away the Crimson Blood Demon Sword and the Reverse God Sword. Using these two swords was simply bullying others. There wouldn't be any pressure in the battle, so it wouldn't stimulate his cultivation and physical strength. He was prepared to fight barehanded. He was a sword master to begin with. Using his hand as a sword was a common thing. Chapter 46-92. Do you really think I'm afraid of you? Being forced to such an extent, Huang Jingtong couldn't retreat anymore. He also knew that he couldn't retreat anymore. A pair of strange golden eyes appeared behind him. That was his martial soul. The divine origin of a third-level divine body realm cultivator was activated, and a violent aura instantly filled the sky. Golden flash! Huang Jingtong suddenly roared. The martial soul behind him shot out two golden rays of light, directly towards Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao looked at the attack coldly. He smiled in disdain. You're not only a coward, but also a piece of trash. Void Shattering Finger. Transcending the void. There was no need for the second stage of the Void Shattering Finger. Just the first stage was enough. A glaring light shot out from Ling Xiao's right hand. His target wasn't the two golden rays of light, but Huang Jingtong. Qi. The Void Shattering Finger's force arrived first. It pierced Huang Jingtong's throat. Of course, Huang Jingtong wouldn't die. This was just Ling Xiao's entertainment. His real opponent was the Warlord. Huang Jingtong was nothing in his eyes. After the Void Shattering Finger hit Huang Jingtong, the two golden rays of light shot towards Ling Xiao. However, there was no effect at all. Seeing this scene, Forefather Scarlet Flame and Green Lotus Swordswoman were dumbfounded. They had already guessed that Ling Xiao had become stronger. However, he was so strong that he could easily suppress Huang Jingtong, who was at the third-level Divine Body Realm. What exactly happened to this guy? Young Master, are you still you? Green Lotus Swordswoman asked worriedly. She was afraid that Ling Xiao would be possessed by someone else. Sister Green Lotus, don't you trust me that much? If I was possessed, why would I come to save you? Don't worry, I'm still me. I haven't changed at all. Ling Xiao smiled. You're actually so strong. Huang Jingtong looked at Ling Xiao in horror. He truly did not expect that Ling Xiao was actually terrifying to such an extent. Looks like I have to use my strongest killing move, even if it means destroying everything. I can't let you continue behaving atrociously. Primordial Divine Dragon Seal. Huang Jingtong was really going to risk his life. The moment he roared, a terrifying fire dragon coiled around his body. Blazing flames soared into the sky. The temperature of the entire warlord palace rose rapidly, a monarch weapon with 4 dragon patterns. Ling Xiao watched as the dragon-shaped pendant around Huang Jintong's neck transformed into a divine dragon and flew away. The huge divine dragon extended for hundreds of meters. Raging flames burned the sky. That scene was truly soul-stirring. If this divine dragon swooped down, the entire Warlord Hall would probably be annihilated. In the eyes of Ancestor Scarlet Flame and Green Lotus Swordswoman, an Emperor armament with 4 dragon patterns was already a divine artifact. It was too terrifying. In their eyes, Huang Jintong was like an invincible god. Die, Ling Xiao! Goldeneye desperately burned his life force to increase the power of the immemorial divine dragon seal. No wonder he said that he wanted to destroy both jade and common stone. He reckoned that if he used this thing, he would not be able to keep his life. The divine dragon roared and pounced toward Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao's face was still indifferent and disdainful. He stretched out his right hand again. He pointed his finger. Void shattering finger, shattering the void. The cooldown time of the void shattering finger was only a dozen seconds, not even a minute. Therefore, after Ling Xiao used it once, he could quickly use it a second time. It had a terrifying power that could tear the space apart. The power of the finger formed a huge, distorted space in the sky. The huge divine dragon seemed to be distorted and deformed. Then it shattered like a broken mirror. It disappeared. Huang Jintong fell to the ground. He was too tired, but in addition to the fatigue, there was more fear. He looked at Ling Xiao, and his whole body was trembling. He used the immemorial divine dragon seal at all costs and lost a lot of his life force. His body began to age, and his hair had turned white. But Ling Xiao shattered his attack so easily. What the hell? Just how terrifying was this guy? I said that when I was in the chaotic Sand Sea, even Wang Quan Tianming, who was known as a peerless genius, was killed by me. Who do you think you are? At that time, Wang Quan Tianming's cultivation was also at the 3rd level of the divine body realm, but his combat power was much stronger than yours. His emperor weapon was also stronger than yours, but now I'm stronger than then. What right do you have to defeat me? Ling Xiao looked down at Huang Jintong from above, looking at the guy who was rapidly aging. There was no sympathy in his eyes. The other party became like this because he wanted to kill him. Why should he sympathize with him? Wouldn't that be stupid? While talking, Ling Xiao suddenly went to Huang Jintong's side and stuffed a pill into his mouth. Huang Jintong suddenly let out a shrill scream. That kind of feeling was truly worse than death. Kill me! Kill me quickly! I don't want to live anymore. Huang Jintong shouted loudly. Now you know pain? When you tortured Ancestor, Crimson Flame, and Green Lotus Swordswoman, didn't you think this day would come? Ling Xiao looked at Huang Jintong with a cold smile. His cold eyes made Huang Jintong feel the coldness of hell. He finally regretted it. He should have believed in the D-Zune. The D-Zune had already told him what Ling Xiao had done in the chaotic Sand Sea, but he didn't believe it at all. That led to today's evil consequences. At this moment, Ling Xiao felt a terrifying aura coming from afar. Huang Jintong's originally desperate face was replaced with a pleasantly surprised expression. It's the Law King. The Law King was the supreme ruler of the Punishment Hall. He was also the warlord's father, Huang Jinding. He was slightly weaker than the Fire Lord, but his status was much higher than the Fire Lord's. After all, He was a relative of the royal family. "Lord Law King, help! Save me!" Ling Xiao had started a massacre in the Warlord Hall. He didn't put the Law King and the Yellow Emperor in his eyes at all. He even said that he would kill the warlord. "We must not let him go. Run! Young master, run!" This was already the third time that Ancestor Crimson Flame had let Ling Xiao escape. He didn't expect that the people from the punishment hall would come so quickly, and the leader was actually the Law King, Huang Jinding. This time he was in big trouble. "What are you running for? I've said it before. Even if the Heavenly Emperor comes, I will kill Huang Jinlan today." Ling Xiao sneered. "What an arrogant kid. How dare you be so presumptuous in front of me? Do you think that you can do whatever you want just because the Yellow Emperor announced you as the Imperial Prince? The laws of the City of Gold are controlled by me." Huang Jinding directly suppressed Ling Xiao with his aura as soon as he arrived. He wanted to show off his strength to Ling Xiao. "I think the punishment hall is the one who can do whatever you want, right? I think you should know what your son Huang Jinlan did in the 3,000 sacred cities, right? How dare you play dumb here?" Ling Xiao said coldly. Even in the face of the Law King, Ling Xiao didn't have the slightest fear. "Our punishment hall only cares about the matters of the City of Gold. The matters of the 3,000 sacred cities have nothing to do with us," Huang Jinding said indifferently. "You've really pushed everything away." Ling Xiao sneered. It seemed that it was right for him to do it himself. If he left it to the punishment hall, the people of the Warlord Hall would probably escape this time. Chapter 46, 93. Father! The warlord, Huang Jinlan, who had been hiding, finally showed himself. The arrival of the Punishment King, Huang Jinding, gave him a sense of security. "Oh, it's law and order." Huang Jinding was very satisfied with his son. No matter what his son did, he wouldn't hold him accountable, because his son was outstanding enough. "Ling Xiao, you came to the Warlord Hall today and started a massacre. You probably didn't expect this to happen, right?" The warlord sneered at Ling Xiao and suddenly whispered into the Punishment King's ear. "Father, this kid has a 9-dragon inscription Emperor artifact. The Fire Emperor and Valkyrie's 9-dragon inscription Emperor artifact were given by him." "Really?" The Punishment King's eyes lit up when he heard this. He was even more excited than when he supported his son. "Ling Xiao, I can treat today's incident as a misunderstanding. However, you have to give me at least 3 9-dragon inscription Emperor artifacts as compensation. Otherwise, I can kill you right now. So what if you're an Emperor's son? You're useless if you die." Huang Jinding sneered. "Haha, you really think highly of yourself. Even the Eternal Emperor regions, 4 great kings, couldn't catch me. Although you're not inferior to them, you're just one person. What can you do?" Ling Xiao smiled in disdain. He suddenly attacked and killed Huang Jintong. He killed Huang Jinding right in front of the Punishment King. "Didn't you say you didn't want me to kill him? I want to kill him. What can you do about it?" Ling Xiao mocked. "Not only do I want to kill him, but I also want to kill your son, Huang Jinlan. So what if you're the Punishment King? I might not be a match for you, but you definitely can't stop me from killing." "Is that so? I really want to see if you have the ability." The Punishment King, Huang Jinding, didn't believe that Ling Xiao could kill the warlord Huang Jinlan right in front of him. Huang Jinlan was a 2nd-level divine physique echelon cultivator. He wasn't just a chicken. He wasn't like Huang Jintong, who was heavily injured and on the verge of death. "Then let's try it. Mao God Nether Formation." The moment the Mao God Nether array diagram appeared, Ling Xiao's figure suddenly disappeared. This caused Huang Jinding to frown. "Lan come to my side." He did not believe that with Huang Jinlan by his side, Ling Xiao could still succeed. Hell's Shadow Strike. Suddenly, a sword light pierced through the darkness. His target was actually not Huang Jinlan, but Huang Jin Cauldron. The crimson blood demon Sword's hell shadow kill still couldn't kill the golden cauldron. However, it would definitely pose a threat to the golden cauldron. The golden cauldron did not dare to not block. However, the moment he resisted, Huang Jinlan was suddenly grabbed by a hand from the depths of the darkness. Ling Xiao stopped attacking. Warlord Huang Jinlan had already become his hostage. Let him go. Seeing Huang Jinlan being grabbed by Ling Xiao like a little chick, Huang Jinding couldn't believe it. He still couldn't figure out what had happened just now. Did someone help Ling Xiao? Otherwise, how could there be two powerful martial artists? Let go? Hee golden cauldron. Didn't you say that I can't kill him? Warlord Huang Jinlan sent his subordinates to kill many of my subordinates. He also tortured my benefactor Xiao Fengyin, Ancestor Scarlet Flame, and Sword Maiden Green Lotus. Today, I will use his blood to pay tribute to those dead Battle Alliance martial artists. I will seek justice for my benefactor, my subordinates, and my friends. As he spoke, Ling Xiao's reverse god sword had already pierced into Huang Jinlan's body. Ling Xiao, let him go. As long as you let him go, this old man will agree to anything you want. If you want a saint rank cultivation method or an emperor armament, I'll give it all to you. Huang Jinding was really panicking this time. I'm afraid that if I let him go, you'll immediately kill me. But it doesn't matter. I don't actually care. Ling Xiao sneered and said, Huang Jinlan's fate today is all his own fault. If you still don't know what's good for you, then I'll have to kill you too. As he spoke, his reverse god sword had already sucked Huang Jinlan's blood essence dry. Bastard, if I, Huang Jinding, don't kill you today, I swear I'm not human. Huang Jinding roared and pounced at Ling Xiao. This time, not only did he fail to protect Battle King Hall, but he also failed to protect his own son. This was a disgrace. This was a great disgrace. He must make Ling Xiao pay with blood. You dare to kill someone the Emperor wants. At this moment, a red light flew over from afar. A palm struck at Huang Jinding. Huang Jinding did not dare to continue attacking Ling Xiao and could only hastily block. As a result, he was forced back more than 10 steps. There were still burn marks on his hand. Fire Emperor! The moment Huang Jinding saw Fire Emperor, he knew that he had no chance. In the distance, another figure appeared. This time, it was Valkyrie Yangshi. The Emperor has ordered to immediately summon Emperor Ling Xiao. Who dares to kill him? Yang Shi held Huang Jinding's decree, which made Huang Jinding depressed and angry. He killed my son, he killed my son, Huang Jinding roared. So what? In the end, it's your fault for not teaching your son well. He was courting death. Now it's someone else's fault. Fire Emperor sneered and said, Ling Xiao, your matter is done, come with us. I want to see who dares to stop you. Who dares to disobey the Emperor's order? Ancestor Scarlet Flame and Green Lotus Swordswoman in the Dongxing Emperor Ring were completely dumbfounded. The Emperor summoned him? What was going on? Why did the Emperor summon Ling Xiao? I'm done with my business. Ling Xiao looked at Huang Jinding provocatively. This time the Emperor summoned me, so I won't chat with you anymore. Let's talk again in the future. Then he broke through the air. He headed to the Great Emperor Palace with Fire Emperor and Yang Shi. On the way, he passed by Fire King Hall. Ling Xiao asked Ancestor Scarlet Flame, Yufeng Hua, and Green Lotus Swordswoman to stay. After all, the Great Emperor Palace was not an ordinary place. After all, Yufeng Hua was a member of the Eternal Life Palace and could not enter easily. Before you go to see the Emperor, I need to briefly introduce the Great Emperor Palace, in case you don't know anything and make a fool of yourself. Ling Xiao was not in a hurry to leave. After killing so many people, it was time to sit down and digest. Fire Emperor intended to briefly explain some things about the Golden City, so as to prevent Ling Xiao from offending the Golden Emperor. Senior, please speak. Ling Xiao sat there, refining the true essence in his body and absorbing the experience he had gained from the battle. He said, anyway, he had 4 bodies, so he could do 4 things at the same time. Let me tell you this. The Great Emperor Palace was originally transformed from a treasure. As for what grade of treasure it was, even the golden emperors of the past generations were not clear. The shape of this treasure is similar to a huge Rubik's Cube. Every grid can be flipped and even change direction. Therefore, where the great emperor lives, other than the 4 supreme kings of the Golden City, no one knows, other than the great emperor, there are also the most outstanding disciples of the Golden City living in the Great Emperor Palace. We will occasionally go in to live. However, we have our own palace outside, so we have more freedom. Mobile version update website, M. Chapter 4694. Rubik's Cube? Magic Treasure? Ling Xiao was very curious. This Rubik's Cube must be a treasure that could change the laws of space. Could it be a 9-dragon pattern emperor weapon? Or even stronger? However, it was rumored that the most powerful treasure in the 9 realms of the 4 regions was the 9-dragon pattern emperor weapon. But to be honest, he had never seen it before. The most powerful emperor weapon he had seen was the 6-dragon pattern emperor weapon in the hands of Wang Quantianming. Other than you and the Punishment King, who else is there among the 4 great kings? Ling Xiao asked curiously. This was the top warrior in the Golden City, so he naturally had to ask clearly. Those 2 are older than us. They are basically in seclusion and won't come out easily. When you see them, you will naturally know. All these years, the internal strife in the Golden City was basically the struggle between me and the Punishment King. There's no other way. That old guy took advantage of the Punishment Palace and did many things that harmed others for his own benefit. If I don't do anything about it, the Golden City will definitely be in a mess because of him. The Fire Emperor sighed helplessly and said, forget it. It's about time. Don't let the Emperor wait for too long. Let's go to the Great Emperor Palace. All right. Ling Xiao also wanted to see the Golden Emperor as soon as possible. Perhaps he would have a chance to see the Golden Divine Codex that he had always been concerned about. In the past, he had parted ways with the Golden Divine Codex. It had been a long time. Between them, they had a very happy experience. Moreover, the Golden Divine Codex could be considered his confidant. In the past, he was not qualified to be friends with the Golden Divine Codex. But now no one could stop him, not even the Golden Emperor. However, the Golden Emperor would probably not stop him. After all, he had contributed greatly to the revival of the Golden Divine Codex. Ling Xiao and the Fire Emperor headed to the Great Emperor Palace. The Valkyrie stayed in the Fire Emperor Palace as a precaution. Who knew if the Golden Cauldron would attack the Fire Emperor Palace out of anger? They followed the Fire Emperor for about half an hour. Ling Xiao suddenly saw a huge steel Rubik's Cube floating in the air. He had seen such a building on the White Tiger continent before, but that was much smaller than this. Moreover, the difference in their levels was too great. Just by standing there, one could feel a terrifying pressure from this huge tesseract. It was definitely not a simple treasure. Ling Xiao looked at the Rubik's Cube with a Taiji eye, but he couldn't see the end of it. This thing was like a huge steel city standing in the void. One of the grids was dedicated to the Yellow Emperor. Apart from the 4 supreme kings, very few people were able to enter, unless Huang Jindi personally summoned him. Those who had such an honor were usually very outstanding. For example, Yang Shi and Huang Jinlan. Another example was Ling Xiao. Actually, under normal circumstances, the Rubik's Cube won't move randomly. From the outside to the inside, a martial artist's strength would grow stronger. The cultivation conditions will also get better and better. When they reached the huge magic cube, the Fire Emperor added, the martial artists of the city of gold yearn for the most in their dreams to cultivate in the magic cube. However, in order to become a demon king, one had to be at least a half-step divine physique echelon cultivator. Otherwise, you won't stand a chance at all. The more he stood under the magic cube, the more he felt the terror of this Dharma treasure. Ling Xiao even suspected that if this thing was really a Dharma treasure, it would be able to destroy an entire country in one go. It was too big. It was too terrifying. Standing below, there was always a feeling of being as insignificant as an ant. Before you go in, you have to be mentally prepared. Now, you are very famous in the City of Gold. Almost no one doesn't know you. After all, the Dizun wants to meet you personally. Among them, there are jealous, dissatisfied, resentful, and of course, there are also people who worship you. All kinds of situations could happen. However, you don't have to feel pressured. With your strength, most of the martial artists here are no match for you. Besides, with me here who dares to act rashly. The Fire Emperor smiled. Pressure? I've been through a lot for so many years. Why would I be afraid of this little bit of pressure? No matter how much pressure they give me, can it be compared to the 4 supreme kings of the Eternal Life Palace? Ling Xiao smiled, not taking this little bit of pressure seriously. You're indeed bold. The Fire Emperor laughed. I'm not a kid anymore. Ling Xiao shook his head, helplessly, when a door opened in one of the boxes of the Rubik's Cube. Ling Xiao clearly saw strange runes flashing on the Rubik's Cube. It's a Dharma treasure indeed. If I can get it, it'll be a good thing. Ling Xiao smiled and followed the Fire Emperor inside. At this moment, in the great Emperor Palace, countless warriors were fervently discussing this young man who was about to arrive. These people were very well informed. They were not like the people in the 3,000 sacred cities who were so ill-informed. I heard that Ling Xiao's cultivation is only at the core fragmentation realm, but his strength is extraordinarily powerful. I heard that too, but I think he's just pretending to be weak and deliberately hiding his strength. No matter what, someone who can be recognized by the Fire Emperor and the Dizun must be a peerless genius. You have to know that we are not qualified to be personally summoned by the Dizun. Anyway, we can't compare. I heard that the number 1 genius in the 4 regions and 9 worlds, Wang Quan and Tianming, they both broke through to the 3rd level of the divine physique echelon. They were killed by him in one move. They must be bragging. It's getting more and more ridiculous. I don't really believe it either. But you should believe what the Silver Dragon said, right? He's one of the top half-step divine physique echelon martial artists. Now that he broke through to the 1st level of the divine physique echelon, he's already in the top 3 among the younger generation. But such a Silver Dragon actually worships Ling Xiao so much. That's weird. Everyone sighed. Some were impressed and some were suspicious. Anyway, there were all kinds of opinions. Anyway, I'm quite impressed with this guy. Being able to kill Wang Quan and Tianming is bringing glory to our Golden Heavens region. Others are saying that our Golden Heavens region is not going to make it. Maybe this guy will make the Golden Heavens region stronger. Now, in the Golden City, the number 1 under the age of 50 is Lord Battle Emperor. However, there are still 2 people under the age of 100 who are not inferior to Battle Emperor. One is the Flower Emperor's subordinate, Valkyrie Yang Shi. The other is the Thunder Emperor's chief disciple, Lei Xinglia. Next, it should be the Fire Emperor's subordinate, Silver Dragon. After all, Fire Emperor is an alchemy master and doesn't have time to teach disciples. If Senior Silver Dragon didn't go to the chaotic sand ocean, he probably wouldn't be where he is now. These people can't be compared to Ling Xiao. You have to know that Ling Xiao destroyed the Deep Sea Dragon region and scared off the 4 supreme kings of the Eternal Life Palace. I'm afraid that even our sovereigns have to be polite to him. That's right. I heard that the 4 supreme kings of the Eternal Life Palace wanted to snatch Yu Fenghua back. In the end, not only did they not succeed, but they also suffered heavy casualties. Stop talking, he's here. At this moment, Ling Xiao and Fire Emperor stepped into the great Darch Palace. Everyone stopped talking. They looked at this legendary person. Chapter 46, 95. The moment Ling Xiao stepped into the great emperor palace, he realized how powerful the real Golden City was. Age aside, there were tens of thousands of people. 1/3 of them were divine physique echelon realm martial artists. The rest were half-step divine physique echelon cultivators. He was truly shocked. He thought that the Dragon Emperor was too conceited to be able to destroy the deep-sea dragon region so easily. Otherwise, he would have brought all the divine physique echelon realm martial artists to the chaotic desert. It wouldn't have been that easy to destroy them. Waves of powerful auras were released in a provocative manner. Although they weren't targeting Ling Xiao, it was still terrifying when tens of thousands of auras gathered together. However, this was nothing to Ling Xiao. After experiencing the oppression of the 4 kings of the Eternal Palace, there weren't many things that could scare him, at least in the 4 regions and 9 worlds. Countless pairs of envious and jealous eyes were cast over. Their expressions were complicated. After all, being summoned by the Golden Emperor was the greatest honor for a martial artist in the Golden City. Martial artists who could cultivate in the Great Emperor Palace were the elites of the elites, the geniuses of the geniuses. One must know that these people were selected from the 3,000 sacred cities, or from outside. They stepped into the Golden City first. If they performed well and reached the half-step divine physique echelon before the age of 100, they could enter the Great Emperor Palace to cultivate. Therefore, all of them were very proud. It was impossible for them to be easily convinced by one person. If the Fire Emperor didn't bring Ling Xiao along, someone would have come to provoke them. These people aren't just from this grid, right? Ling Xiao asked. Of course. Many of them came from other grids to watch the show. After all, you're too legendary. The Fire Emperor smiled. All right, let's not bother about them. Let's go and see the Overlord. I think he must have been waiting for a long time. The 2 of them suddenly sped up and moved forward. The crowd was reluctant to part with them. Of course, there were also some people who were indignant. He's only at the 7th level of the Shattered Core Realm. What right does he have? That's right. Although I'm over 100 years old, I'm already at the 3rd level of the Divine Physique Echelon. It's so unfair that I'm not qualified to see the Overlord. Such voices rose and fell in the crowd. After all, the existence of a parachute would always cause a lot of dissatisfaction. This was too normal. However, Ling Xiao and the Flame Emperor could no longer hear these discussions. They quickly entered the 2nd grid and flew forward at high speed. Ling Xiao could clearly feel it. The deeper they went, the greater the pressure in the surrounding air became. It was as if he was diving into the deep sea. Each grid was basically equivalent to a holy city. I wonder how many squares there are. It was truly amazing. Do you need my help? Flame Emperor suddenly asked. He was worried that Ling Xiao would not be able to withstand the enormous pressure inside. Don't worry, Senior Fire Emperor. This bit of pressure is nothing to me. Ling Xiao shook his head. His physical body had reached the level of an emperor weapon with 8 dragon patterns. He didn't care about such pressure at all. Perhaps the greater pressure inside could help him improve the strength of his physical body. Not only were there no disadvantages, but there were also benefits. It's good that you're fine. If you can't take it, tell me in advance. Don't force yourself. The Fire Emperor reminded. Understood. The 2 of them spoke as they advanced. Obviously, the deeper they went, the more terrifying the pressure was, and the fewer cultivators they saw. From the outermost grid to the place where the sovereigns are, we have to experience a total of 100 changes in pressure. The pressure is great because there's a lot of spiritual energy. Therefore, it is more helpful for cultivation. In the entire Golden City, only the sovereigns have the ability to cultivate in the core grid. As for us 4 Supreme Kings, we can at most cultivate at the 90th level. People like Yang Shi, Huang Jinlan, and Lei Xinglia can at most reach the 50th level. Of course, we can't cultivate in the core, but we can still go there. We just can't stay for too long. The Fire Emperor explained as he flew. In the blink of an eye, they had already reached the 50th level. The Fire Emperor was worried that Ling Xiao wouldn't be able to withstand it, so he hurriedly wrapped Ling Xiao with his divine essence. "Senior, there's no need." Ling Xiao said, "You're disturbing my cultivation." After reaching the 50th level, Ling Xiao clearly felt the pressure increase. The potential in his body and the medicinal effects of the spirit pills and miraculous medicines he had taken in the past began to enter his body. This was extremely helpful for the advancement of his physical body. What a monster! The Fire Emperor looked at Ling Xiao and couldn't help but sigh. Then he stopped helping Ling Xiao. The two of them rushed to the 90th level in one go. The Fire Emperor had been paying attention to Ling Xiao and found that Ling Xiao's expression still didn't change. This made him completely convinced. There are really talents in every generation, and each generation is better than the last. At the 90th level, the Fire Emperor suddenly slowed down. A figure appeared in front of him and walked over with a smile. Flower King. When the Fire Emperor saw this figure, he couldn't help but smile. Ling Xiao, this is Yang Shi's master, Flower King Luo Shi. Yes, she is also the sovereign's confidant. You must build a good relationship with her. Ling Xiao looked at the woman walking over from afar. The Flower King Luo, she was definitely more than 100 years old. But on the surface, she looked to be around 30 years old. Her clothes were gorgeous and dignified. One look and one could tell that she was very elegant. She was like an empress of the mortal world. But her temperament was even more outstanding. Junior greets Senior Flower King. Although Ling Xiao wasn't afraid of the Flower King, he still had to be polite. Yes, the Flower King Luo, she nodded, then looked at the Fire Emperor and complained, "You old thing. Why aren't you helping that little guy? What if he collapses because of the pressure here?" "Luo Shi, don't worry. This kid is a freak. Even I feel a lot of pressure here. But this kid is acting like nothing is wrong. The man that your disciple likes can't be bad." The Fire Emperor smiled. Luo Shi glanced at Ling Xiao and was very surprised. He couldn't help but sigh. As expected of the genius that the sovereigns have chosen, he is indeed special. Go, the sovereigns have summoned you. This is a great opportunity for you. For you, it might be a turning point in your life. Yes. Ling Xiao nodded. Then, the Fire Emperor continued to lead Ling Xiao forward. They reached the 99th level. The Fire Emperor's breathing became more rapid. This showed how terrifying the pressure here was. Ling Xiao found that, under this great pressure, his physical body had finally improved again. Now, it had reached the strength of a 9-dragon emperor weapon. Staying in this place also became more relaxing. He didn't even feel the slightest bit of pressure. This made him a little disappointed. He liked this kind of pressure. After all, it could help him improve. Do you see that door? Go in by yourself. I won't follow you. Remember, after you go in, don't be so rude in front of me. Listen to whatever the sovereigns say. The Fire Emperor reminded. Mobile version update website. M. Chapter 46, 96. Understood. Ling Xiao nodded. However, deep down he didn't think much of it. Should he die just because the other party asked him to? If it was good for him, he would naturally listen. If it wasn't good for him, then he would be a fool to listen. All right, go on. The Flame Emperor waved his hand. Ling Xiao lifted his foot and stepped through the mysterious door. Flame Emperor, you've picked up a treasure. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning appeared beside the Flame Emperor. It was naturally the Thunder Emperor, one of the 4 great supremes. Both the Thunder Emperor and the Flower Emperor were more experienced than the Flame Emperor. Of course, they were slightly weaker. What a pity. I wanted to take him as a disciple when I met him in the Sky Demon Ghost region. In the end, I didn't succeed. I never expected that the Emperor Venerate would beat me to it." The Flame Emperor lamented. "It can't be helped. Who knew that this kid would alarm the Emperor Venerate? The Emperor Venerate probably hasn't accepted a disciple in several hundred years." The Thunder Emperor sighed. "Ever since that fellow betrayed the City of Gold, the Emperor Venerate has been disheartened." "Yes, I hope that Ling Xiao can make the Emperor Venerate think of accepting a disciple again." The Flame Emperor glanced at the huge portal that looked like a teleportation array. Ling Xiao had already stepped into the core grid of the Great Emperor Palace. A terrifying pressure instantly pressed down on him. This made him reveal a pleasantly surprised expression. Indeed, this was a sacred place for him to cultivate. A surprised voice was heard in the void. It seemed as though the voice was surprised that Ling Xiao could actually withstand such a huge pressure. Ling Xiao looked in the direction of the voice. He couldn't see anyone. However, Ling Xiao noticed that this core was more like a strange space in the universe. Although it wasn't big, however, it contained a terrifying and powerful array formation. The exquisiteness of this array was considered pretty good in the Black Tortoise continent. Of course, it was child's play compared to the array that his master had shown him. It is indeed an emperor weapon. However, it seems to have reached 10 dragon patterns. Besides the Void God Sword, this was the second emperor weapon that Ling Xiao had seen with 10 dragon patterns. Of course, this was only his guess. It was hard to say exactly how terrifying these things were. This space seemed to be able to create different environments. Amidst her beauty was a murderous intent. Junior Ling Xiao greets the ancestor. The one who spoke just now must be the Golden Sovereign. There was no doubt about it. Ling Xiao activated his Tai Chi Eye. Finally, he found Huang Jindi's shadow in the starry sky. However, he didn't say anything and only said respectfully, Huang Di was indeed terrifying. He was even more terrifying than the 4 Supreme Kings combined. This caused him to feel an intense shock. Even if you fuse with 3 venerables, you'll still be killed in one move. This was Ling Xiao's most direct thought. "You're an interesting little fellow." Huang Jindi's voice sounded again. "I originally planned to help you avoid the pressure here. However, I discovered that you were actually able to resist this enormous pressure. You have a defensive magic treasure with 9 dragon patterns?" "Sort of," Ling Xiao replied. In truth, he was only using his physical body to block the attack. Probably even Huang Jindi found it hard to imagine that his physical body had been cultivated to such a terrifying extent. "Did you get it in the world of souls?" Huang Jindi asked again. "Yes," Ling Xiao nodded. "The ancestor is looking for me for these things?" Ling Xiao frowned. If it was just these things, there was really no need to waste time. If it weren't for the fact that the pressure here could help strengthen his physical body. He was really impatient. "Little fellow, you're quite impatient." "Forget it. In that case, let's get back to business." Huang Jindi's voice became serious. "Have you been to the City of No Return?" "Yes." "Have you seen the dead Spirit Emperor?" Huang Jindi asked again. "I haven't seen the dead Spirit Emperor, but according to what I know, the dead Spirit Emperor is one of the Lotus Flower's avatars." Ling Xiao said. "You even know about this?" Huang Jindi was a little surprised. "To be honest, Senior, I have some connections with the Lotus Flower, but please forgive me for not being able to tell you in detail." Ling Xiao said. "It doesn't matter." Huang Jindi shook his head as if he didn't care. "What I want to say is that the Lotus Flower will probably bring a bloodbath to the 4 regions and 9 worlds. It might even be a huge disaster." Ling Xiao didn't say anything, but listened quietly. In fact, he had also thought about the Lotus Flower. That old guy appeared in the world of souls and the graveyard of the gods, so he definitely wasn't a kind person. It was really unknown what would happen to the 4 regions and 9 worlds in the future. But one thing was certain. That guy would definitely not let him off easily. He cultivated the Lotus Flower Sutra and obtained the reverse god sword that the Lotus Flower dreamed of. These were all reasons why he wouldn't be let off. Of course, Ling Xiao didn't intend to tell Huang Jindi about these, because Huang Jindi hadn't gained his trust yet. To put it bluntly, the person standing opposite him was just a stranger. Since you know the lotus flower, you should know that he has 3 avatars. Including the original body, there are a total of 4 bodies. The decibels are sealed in different places, and this great emperor palace is suppressing the lotus flower's Di-Zun body. He has now merged his original body and the demon lord into one. The divine Zun body is in the graveyard of the gods, and he will probably find it in the near future. Then the next step is to come to the Golden City to seize his Di-Zun body. Under such circumstances, the Golden City will face a huge disaster. Are you still willing to stay in the Golden City? Logically speaking, with your talent, you will be treated well wherever you go. Senior, do you think I'm a coward who's afraid of death? Or was he an ungrateful person? Since I'm a disciple of the Golden Sky region, I should face the disaster with the Golden Sky region. Even if I die, I have no regrets. Ling Xiao said seriously. And if we let the lotus flower's 4 avatars merge, I'm afraid the 4 regions and 9 worlds will become a world of dead souls. Just thinking about it is scary. This old man really didn't misjudge you. Huang Jindi suddenly laughed. You're a good child. Di-Zun, if we let the lotus flower grow, he will definitely be very terrifying and even difficult to stop. Why don't we take advantage of the fact that he hasn't caused a storm yet? What if we combine the forces of the 4 regions and 9 worlds and kill him? Ling Xiao suddenly asked. This old man has also thought about your suggestion. Unfortunately, the 4 regions and 9 worlds are not united at all. Some people don't even believe this old man's words. There are also some people who are arrogant. For example, the Eternal Emperor. He thinks that with his own strength, even if the lotus flower comes back to life, he won't be his match. Another example is the Beast Emperor of the Savage Beast region. He also thinks that this matter has nothing to do with him. A bunch of idiots. If my Golden City is destroyed, how can they live in peace? At this point, Huang Jindi felt waves of helplessness and anger. Ling Xiao also felt deeply sorrowful. Everyone only cares about the snow in front of their own door. When they are truly unlucky, it will be too late. Mobile version update website. M. Chapter 46, 97. How long would it take for Lotus Flower to find his divine venerable body? How long would it take for him to merge with the divine venerable body? These were all unknowns. It could be decades or centuries. It could also be years or even months. The only thing that could be confirmed was that after Lotus Flower obtained the divine venerable body, the first place he would come to would definitely be Golden City. I hope it can be later. Ling Xiao said, that way I'll have a chance to become stronger. I can't always let the older generation shoulder the fate of the 4 regions and 9 worlds. Now, it's the turn of us young people. Ha ha ha. Young man, you're really confident. However, it'll take you at least 100 years to reach our level. The path of cultivation gets slower and slower. You haven't advanced to the divine body realm yet. Once you reach the divine body realm, you'll naturally understand this. Huang Jindi laughed. Ling Xiao didn't comment. He didn't have to refute. Facts would prove everything. Seeing that Ling Xiao didn't say anything, Huang Jindi thought that he was afraid. He laughed and said, don't worry. In order to prevent this day from coming, I've already made a lot of arrangements. I definitely won't let Lotus Flower succeed so easily. When Ling Xiao heard this, he couldn't help but respect this old man. He could tell that Huang Jindi was prepared to sacrifice his life to resolve the crisis. However, there wasn't much hope. Perhaps it could only delay the crisis for a while. Senior, why do you have to be so tired? Why don't you give me the position of Huang Jindi? I'll help you settle this matter. All you need to do is to cultivate steadily. Ling Xiao suddenly laughed. Young man, you really know how to joke. Even if I give you the position of divine, venerable body now, I'm afraid you won't be able to hold on to it. Not to mention anything else, the four supremes won't agree. Huang Jindi thought that Ling Xiao was joking, so he also laughed and said, "However, if you really want to take this position, it's fine. It's not that you can't. After all, you're already an imperial prince. There are only two people who have obtained the Dharch position. One is you, and the other is Huang Jinlan. However, if a Dharch wants to inherit the position of divine, venerable body realm, other than having outstanding talent, he must also be recognized by the four supremes. At that time, you can become a golden sovereign. This was an existence that was above the four great masters, second only to the sovereign realm. Of course, this position had not been created for many years. It's mainly because I'm still young and strong, so I don't need this position. But now that the situation has changed, this old man could die at any time, and the position of the Golden Sovereign has become extremely important. Once I die, the Golden Sovereign will automatically be promoted to Golden Sovereign." Ling Xiao smiled and said, "It's really troublesome, but don't worry, Senior. The position of the Golden Sovereign belongs to me. The Flame Emperor won't fight with me, so I only have 3 opponents." In fact, Ling Xiao no longer had much respect for Huang Jindi's position. As his strength increased, he learned about the country of eternity and the ancient race. The position of the Yellow Emperor seemed insignificant. However, if he wanted to unify the profound world, he would have to take it one step at a time. The position of the Golden Emperor was extremely important. As long as they could take him down, they would be able to control the entire Golden Sky region. With the Golden Celestial Domain, would there be any need to worry about the 4 regions and the 9 worlds being treated unfairly? The Golden Sovereign was different from the emperors and princes of the 4 regions and 9 realms. There could be many emperors and princes. Even if the emperor died, they might not be able to inherit the position. But the Golden Sovereign was different. He was basically the number 2 figure in the Golden Sky region. If the Sovereign Realm died, he would be the Sovereign Realm. This was an extraordinary status. "Young man, it's good that you're confident, but I'm afraid it won't be that easy to get this position. Other than the 4 great masters, my defected disciple will also come back to fight for it. I will be in seclusion during this period of time, and I can't control what the Golden City will become. After all, a person's energy is limited. I can only focus on targeting Lotus Flower. I can't do anything else. If someone wants to target you, I won't be able to protect you." Huang Jindi spoke of a cruel reality. Ling Xiao smiled and said, "What's so difficult about that? Senior, you just have to go into seclusion. With me around, there will definitely be no problems in the Golden City." "Ha ha ha, little fellow, it's good that you're confident. But I still have to remind you, be more down to earth. Now that the 4 great masters are still around, there shouldn't be too big of a change in the Golden City. Your mission is to improve your strength." Huang Jindi laughed. "Junior understands. But Sovereign, there's something more troublesome. Junior killed Warlord Huang Jinlan, so the Punishment King will definitely not let it go. If we fight head-on, it will inevitably cause internal strife in the Golden Sky region. I'm afraid Sovereign will have to mediate this matter." Ling Xiao suddenly said, "I already know about this matter. Nothing that happens in the Golden City can escape my eyes. I can't interfere in this matter. You've provoked yourself, so solve it yourself. You have to become the Golden Sovereign, or even the Golden Emperor. If you don't even have this ability, then it's definitely not possible." Huang Jindi said. Ling Xiao smiled. In fact, what he wanted was the other party to say this. It would be simple to solve it himself. If you can become the Golden Sovereign, or even the Golden Emperor, your status won't be inferior to the Eternal Emperor. If you marry his daughter, it won't be a disgrace to him. It can even be said that his daughter will be married off. Huang Jindi smiled meaningfully and said, "But this old man has to remind you that the Eternal Heavenly Emperor is extremely mysterious. I'm afraid He's no less dangerous than the lotus flower. You must be careful. To be honest, even I can't figure out some things about him. I'm afraid you can only explore these secrets by yourself. It seems that the pool of water in the 4 regions and 9 worlds is far deeper than I imagined. The more I get involved, the more terrifying I feel. I have to put away my arrogance and cultivate steadily. Ling Xiao secretly warned himself. Well, I've finished what I wanted to say to you today. Whether you will become the existence of my golden sky region that can turn the situation around or not, you can only rely on yourself. I can only give you special privileges. You can walk freely in the Great Emperor Palace, including this place. That includes this place. You can come whenever you want. Huang Jindi smiled and said, I'm tired, I must rest. Then I'll take my leave. The privilege that Huang Jindi gave him was really great. If he really encountered any danger, he could come here. Even the 4 supreme kings wouldn't be able to chase him here. He turned and left the place where the sovereign was cultivating. Huang Jindi opened his eyes slightly and muttered to himself. He seems to have discovered my existence? But how could it be? Maybe it's just an illusion. At this moment, Ling Xiao was already outside. Fire Emperor was still waiting there, but he seemed to be under a lot of pressure. When the 2 returned to the 90th floor, Fire Emperor heaved a sigh of relief. Chapter 46, 98. Did Di Zun talk to you about the Golden Sovereign? Fire Emperor asked with a smile. Yes, he did. Di Zun told me that the Golden Sovereign not only has to have outstanding talent, but his strength has to at least reach the level of the 4 Supreme Kings. In the entire Great Emperor Palace, all the warriors have the right to compete for the Golden Sovereign, regardless of potential or age. Strength is respected. Ling Xiao replied, It's different from the previous requirements. In the past, the Golden Sovereign had to be under 150 years old. Moreover, his strength doesn't have to reach the level of a Supreme King. As long as he obtains the approval of the 4 Supreme Kings, it's fine. Fire Emperor frowned. Obviously, the new rules had greatly reduced the chances of the younger generation competing for the Golden Sovereign. This is also a helpless move. The calamity of the Golden City is coming, and the Golden City needs a strong leader. Ling Xiao said, The calamity is coming? Could it be about Lotus Flower? Obviously, Huang Jindi had already told this matter to the 4 Supreme Kings. Yes, it's about this matter, but I guess many people don't believe it, right? Ling Xiao sighed. From Fire Emperor's tone, he could tell that Fire Emperor didn't believe this matter. Fire Emperor smiled awkwardly and said, I don't really believe it. Senior Fire Emperor, this matter is not a joke. In the chaotic Sand Sea, Lotus Flower's original body was released. In the Death Soul realm, the Death Soul race was rioting. The Death Soul Emperor was Lotus Flower's demon, sovereign body. In the graveyard of the gods, Lotus Flower was looking for his divine, sovereign body. The next step would be to come to the Golden City. I'm not joking with you. Those terrifying Death Soul race can obtain new abilities and become stronger by devouring their companions and enemies. They can continuously evolve. When they really start the calamity, it will be too late. Therefore, even if I don't take the position of the Golden Sovereign, you have to fight for it. You must not fall into the hands of those heartless people. Ling Xiao reminded. Understood, Prince. Fire Emperor's expression became serious. Huang Jindi might be scaring them, but Ling Xiao wouldn't because there was no need. By the way, other than Warlord Huang Jinlan and Valkyrie Shi, are there any other geniuses in the Golden City? If Ling Xiao wanted to increase his main body strength, he had to have a showdown with martial artists whose strength was close to his. He had to use the Tao of Fusion to deal with the 4 Supremes. That wouldn't have any effect on increasing the strength of the main body. Actually, Huang Jinlan's number 1 genius position should have been given up long ago. I don't know if you still remember, but something happened in the chaotic Sand Sea, and Lotus Flower was released. At the same time, a large-scale spiritual energy turbulence also filled the 4 regions and 9 worlds. During this process, many martial artists suddenly became enlightened. He had broken through and become stronger. Of course, Yang Shi was still unquestionably number 1. Huang Jinlan has been killed by you. However, due to the turbulence of spiritual energy, his uncle Huang Jinyu's cultivation, which had been shackled for a long time, once again made a breakthrough. Currently, he was already at the 2nd level of the divine body realm. His combat prowess was no weaker than Huang Jinlan's. The Thunder King also had a disciple, Lei Xinglia, who was originally only a half-step divine body realm cultivator. He was about the same as Bai Yinzalong. However, he had also broken through to the 1st level of the divine body realm. He was much stronger than most martial artists of the same level. He had a battle with Bai Yinzalong, and it was said that he won easily. Of course, that was under the condition that Bai Yinzalong didn't use the Emperor weapon with 9 dragon patterns. Huang Jinyu, Lei Xinglia, just treat them as side dishes. I can play with them. Ling Xiao currently liked top-notch experts at the 1st level of the divine body realm and 2nd level of the divine body realm the most. This was because he could use his main body's strength to defeat them and increase his main body strength. You'll definitely succeed. It's rare to see someone as responsible as you. When many people face a calamity, the first thing they think of is to escape. I believe that if the calamity really comes, basically no one will fight with you for the position of the Golden Sovereign. Sitting on that position means that you'll become Lotus Flower's number 1 target. You're not afraid, huh? The Fire Emperor was now more and more impressed with Ling Xiao. I can't escape. Moreover, I'm not alone. There's still the entire Heavenly Dynasty Empire that needs my protection. From the moment Ling Xiao set the great ambition of unifying the mystic world, actually there was no way out. He also didn't want to regress. Moving forward step by step, this was his pursuit. Let's go back to the Fire King Palace. Ling Xiao still had something to do. In the space-time corridor, that senior from the Golden Sky region had entrusted him with something. Of course, he wouldn't forget. He was a person who would never owe anyone a favor. That senior had done him a great favor. He would definitely repay the favor. Back to the Fire King Palace. Shi, did you find any clues about the matter I asked you to investigate? That woman, did she leave behind any descendants? Or is she still alive? When Ling Xiao went to the Great Emperor Palace, he entrusted Yang Shi to help him investigate this matter. Since he was already in the Golden City, he should finish what he needed to do first. After finishing, he could then cultivate in peace. That woman didn't die, but she's already old and won't live for long. She adopted a little girl called Yin Lihua. The little girl is very cute. However, she suddenly went missing recently. That's why she's very sad now. If you really want to help her, perhaps finding this little girl would be the greatest help to her. Yang Shi replied, Are there any clues? Ling Xiao asked, There are really clues. Yang Shi nodded. Yin Lihua is 16 years old this year. She's in her Fanghua period. She's extremely beautiful. On the day before she went missing, someone discovered that she had met with a young master called Lin Chen in the Golden City. That Lin Chen relied on his father's position and often womanized. Many girls had been harmed by him. Therefore, the possibility of him kidnapping Yin Lihua is very high. Yang Shi analyzed. He deserves to be killed. Ling Xiao said coldly, How can such a thing that's worse than an animal live until now? He could imagine that Yin Lihua, this cute little girl, had been ruined by this guy called Lin Chen. Although he had never seen Yin Lihua before, this girl was that woman's only spiritual sustenance. If something happened to the girl, that woman would probably collapse. Damn it! Yang Shi felt a little embarrassed. She sighed and said, This Lin Chen's father belongs to the Punishment Palace. He's also one of the commanders of the Punishment Palace. The person with the highest authority in the punishment palace is the punishment king, Huang Jinding. He has a lackey under him, the palace master of the punishment palace. People call him the king of fairness, and he's at the 4th level of the divine physique realm. Under the king of fairness, there are 3 law-enforcing elders. All of them are at the 3rd level of the divine physique realm. Under the law-enforcing elders, there are the punishment commanders. There are a total of 13 of them, and all of them are at the 2nd level of the divine physique realm. Under the punishment commanders are the punishment guards. There are exactly 100 of them. 50 of them are at the 1st level of the divine physique realm. The other 50 are at the half-step divine physique realm. The punishment guards at the half-step divine physique realm are mainly in charge of the divine core warriors. End of chapter. Chapter 46, 99. A punishment commander at the 2nd level of the divine physique echelon? I'm not even afraid of the warlord, so why should I be afraid of someone like him? Ling Xiao loved this kind of opponent the most. Not only could he defeat him with his true self, but he could also stimulate his potential and increase his true self's strength rapidly. Although there were differences in strength between the 2nd level of the divine physique echelon. For example, Wang Quan Tianming's strength should be in the middle. After all, he was inexperienced, which caused him to have a huge flaw in his battle strength. The warlord, Huang Jinlan, was inferior to Wang Quan Tianming. He could only be considered inferior among the 2nd level of the divine physique echelon. As for Lin Chen's father, the punishment commander Lin Hong, he couldn't tell for now, because he didn't see anyone. However, Ling Xiao wasn't afraid of even the strongest 2nd level of the divine physique echelon. Shi, bring me to see the punishment commander. I hope nothing happened to Yin Lihua. Otherwise, I'll definitely kill Lin Chen. Ling Xiao said coldly, I'm afraid this isn't appropriate. The Fire Emperor shook his head. Why? Ling Xiao asked. The punishment palace belongs to the punishment king. If you dare to touch Lin Hong, you'll infuriate the Golden Cauldron's old man. This won't be easy to deal with. The Fire Emperor shook his head and said, You said it yourself. Now that Golden City is facing a great enemy, we should prioritize peace. With your temper, I'm afraid it'll be hard to deal with this peacefully. Why don't I let the white silver sun dragon probe first? It'll be best if Lin Hong lets Yin Lihua go. If not, I'll get her for you. Fine, I'll go take a look at that woman called by Mutin. I promised my senior to take good care of her and not let anything happen to her. Ling Xiao thought about it. It wasn't good to have a conflict with the Golden Cauldron now. It might even harm Yin Lihua. Therefore, it was reasonable to let the white silver sun dragon probe first. Then let's split up, the Fire Emperor said. Fire Emperor, when you see the white silver sun dragon, tell him not to use force if there's a conflict. I'll take care of everything. Ling Xiao was trying peaceful means before resorting to force. If Lin Hong really didn't know what was good for him, then he wouldn't be polite. As the prince, it was his duty to get rid of the Golden City. All right. After the Fire Emperor finished speaking, the 2 of them split up. Ling Xiao followed Yang Shi to Bai Mutin's house. He brought Bai Mutin to the Fire King's palace and used the natural treasures he had obtained from the graveyard of the gods to refine a life-extending pill for Bai Mutin. This allowed the white peony to extend its lifespan by 10 years. Although it wasn't much, this period of time was enough for the old man to enjoy the rest of his life. He had finally done something for that senior. After making arrangements for Bai Peony, Ling Xiao focused on cultivating. The Fire Emperor had already arranged a place for Ling Xiao to cultivate and stay in the Fire King Palace. Naturally, there was no problem. The so-called cultivation was just sorting out the experience gained from battle. The Heart of Gold could repeatedly practice what it had comprehended in battle, until Ling Xiao completely understood. At present, what Ling Xiao lacked was cultivation. In terms of combat prowess, he wasn't weak at all. Regardless of whether it was the beast god's sky-swallowing flash, the reverse god art's unification style, the holy ground demonic shadow, the black lotus treasured light, or the many martial spirit array diagrams. It was still the void shattering finger and the cosmic light godly fist. Those were all incomparably powerful battle methods. In addition, he had the void god sword and the crimson blood demon sword. These two terrifying weapons. Challenging someone of a higher level was basically a common occurrence. With these things, his original body was not at all inferior to a second-level divine body realm cultivator. If he added the body of 3 supremes condensed by the Lotus Sutra, then third-level and fourth-level divine body realm cultivators would not be his match. Once he used the path of fusion, even a fifth-level divine body realm cultivator would have to suffer in his hands. Of course, the body of 3 supremes was ultimately just a life-saving method. It could not be used frequently. Otherwise, if he relied too much on it, it would affect the advancement of his cultivation. Prince Zilong is back. The Fire Emperor's voice suddenly came from outside, and there seemed to be a hint of anger in his voice. Ling Xiao got up and walked out of the room. He saw the white-silver Zilong being carried back. Almost all the bones in his body were shattered. Even his cultivation was crippled. A crazy killing intent flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes. He wanted to solve the problem peacefully, but it seemed like the other party was unwilling. Since that was the case, then he could only be ruthless. Fire Emperor, you won't stop me this time, right? Ling Xiao said eerily. I'll be a coward if I stop you again. F***CK, I didn't expect Lin Hong to be so vicious. It seems like he was instructed by the Golden Cauldron. The Fire Emperor said angrily, All right, it's fine as long as you don't stop me. You just have to keep an eye on the Golden Cauldron. I'll take care of Lin Hong and Lin Qin. Ling Xiao glanced at the white-silver Zilong and said, But the most important thing now is to heal the white-silver Zilong. I'll have to trouble you again. I'm really too useless. The white-silver Zilong looked at Ling Xiao with a bitter smile and said, Luckily, I didn't take out the Emperor weapon with 9 dragon patterns. Otherwise, it would be terrible if I lost it. You're all so stupid. I gave you the Emperor weapon for you to use. If you took it out, Lin Hong wouldn't be your match. Ling Xiao sighed. He fed the white-silver Zilong a healing pill. Then he activated his true energy to heal the white-silver Zilong. His current healing pills were all refined from heavenly materials and earthly treasures with dragon patterns. The healing effect was outstanding. Not only that, but it could also increase the white-silver Zilong's potential. Perhaps the white-silver Zilong would be able to break through to the second level of the divine body realm soon. This could be considered a blessing in disguise. I've made you spend so much money. I'll give you my life. What nonsense are you talking about? You were implicated by me this time. If I didn't kill Warlord Huang Jinlan, Lin Hong wouldn't treat you like this. It must be the Golden Cauldron who gave the order. But don't worry, I'll avenge you. Since they want to fight, I'll accompany them to the end. After a while, Ling Xiao finished healing the white-silver Zilong. The white-silver Zilong had basically recovered. The next thing was to recover its cultivation. You should cultivate in seclusion for the time being. Ling Xiao comforted the white-silver Zilong. Then he went to the punishment hall to look for Lin Hong. Just in case, I'll go with you. After all, you're new here and are unfamiliar with the place. I'm afraid you don't even know where Lin Hong lives, right? Yang Shi said, All right, Feng Hua, I'll have to trouble you to take care of Senior by Muden during this time. Ling Xiao nodded and looked at Feng Hua. It should be more convenient for a girl to take care of by Muden. Okay, I got it. Feng Hua nodded. I'll treat her like a mother. She had lost her mother when she was young, so she sympathized with Bai Muden. Thank you. Ling Xiao took a deep breath and walked out of the Fire King's palace with Yang Shi. Under Yang Shi's lead, Ling Xiao soon arrived at the Punishment Commander's palace where Lin Hong lived. For someone of his level, he would naturally have his own palace in the City of Gold. The Lin Mansion had a big gate and a big courtyard. The red gate symbolized power and status. Who would have thought that there were so many disgusting things hidden behind the gate? Mobile version update website. M. Chapter 4700. Ling Xiao had a gloomy expression on his face the entire way. He originally planned to bury the hatchet with the Punishment King because the City of Gold was about to face a calamity. But now, the other party obviously had no such intention. Since that was the case, he might as well get rid of the Punishment King. Otherwise, when the enemy arrived, he would have to guard against backstabbing. That would be even more troublesome. After understanding this, he didn't care anymore. So what if it was the Punishment Hall? He had never believed in such an existence. When he was in the 3,000 sacred cities, this kind of organization was extremely chaotic. Corruption. It seemed that the situation here was similar. For a scum like Lin Qin to be able to live until now, he knew what the Punishment Hall did all day long. Ling Xiao's killing intent was very strong now. It wasn't just because Lin Qin captured Yin Lihua. If it was just about Yin Lihua, he wouldn't be like this. But when he saw Lin Hong crippled the white silver dragon, his anger couldn't be contained. No one had the right to hurt his people. The warlord killed his subordinates and imprisoned Forefather Scarlet Flame and Green Lotus Swordswoman, so he killed the warlord. Now this Lin Hong was the same. He couldn't let this guy go. Killing intent gathered crazily in his heart. Just as they were about to knock on the door, two people walked out from inside. These two people were unfamiliar faces to Ling Xiao. Yang Shi told him that the older one was Lei Xinglia, who was at the first level of the Divine Body Realm. The other was Lin Qin, who was at the half-step Divine Body Realm. His strength was not bad. However, compared to the monstrous Ling Xiao, he was really not good enough. Greetings, Valkyrie. When Lei Xinglia and Lin Qin saw Yang Shi, they bowed respectfully. As for Ling Xiao, it was as if they didn't see him at all. They didn't pay attention to him at all. You're Lin Qin. Ling Xiao didn't look at Lei Xinglia, but looked at Lin Qin and asked coldly, That's right. Lin Qin looked at Ling Xiao. He knew that the person opposite him was the emperor who had been very famous recently. But he didn't care at all. His father was the punishment commander. The punishment hall had a very special position in Golden City. It was in charge of the law, and it could be said that there was no Golden King. The disciplinary law king was the most powerful under the venerable sovereigns. His father, Lin Hong, was one of the disciples of the law king. The other party was just an emperor's son who had appeared out of nowhere. He had no power or influence, and his cultivation did not seem to be very high either. Why should he give him face? Did you capture Yin Lihua? Ling Xiao's expression became even colder. Oh, that little girl? Not bad. I was the one who caught her. TSK, TSK. It really was a wild little horse. It wasn't easy to tame, but the taste is really not bad. Lin Qin laughed shamelessly and said, Why, Imperial Prince is also interested? But that would have to wait for another day. I haven't played enough yet. Scum! Ling Xiao spat on Lin Chen's face. She's over there. Although Yin Lihua might have been treated inhumanely, but as long as he was not dead, he still had to save him. Are you King looking for death? How dare you call me a scum? You even spat on me? Lin Chen was instantly enraged. Why don't you take a look at where you are? This is our Lin Mansion, not your Fire King Palace. So what? I even dared to kill the Battle King. Who do you think you are? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with terrifying killing intent. He was ready to start with Lin Qin. If this kind of scum did not die, there would be no justice in this world. As he spoke, he had already walked toward Lin Qin. Stop right there. Lei Xinglia stood in front of Lin Qin and looked at Ling Xiao indifferently. Don't think that you're the Imperial Prince. You can do whatever you want. She's just an ordinary girl. So what if you play with her? Could it be that you want to kill Lin Qin? Do you know what the punishment for killing the son of the Law King is? Get lost, or I'll kill you too. Lei Xinglia was only at the first level of the divine physique echelon, although he was considered a superior expert in the first level of the divine physique echelon. But in Ling Zhao's eyes, he was still not worth mentioning. If he wanted to fight, Lei Xinglia was definitely not his opponent. He did not want to be enemies with the Thunder King. But if Lei Xinglia did not know what was good for him and insisted on being a busybody, then he could not be blamed. He was currently in a very bad mood. The other party had directly hit the muzzle of the gun. Ling Zhao's words completely infuriated Lei Xinglia. Because of the spirit energy turbulence, he had successfully cultivated to the first level of the divine physique echelon. And because his aptitude was more outstanding, his accumulated strength was more than enough. Therefore, after breaking through, he was very powerful among the first level of the divine physique echelon. The fact that Ling Xiao had been conferred the title of Imperial Prince and was even summoned by the venerable emperor made him feel very uncomfortable. His strong jealousy made him not have a good impression of Ling Xiao. And now, Ling Xiao actually asked him to get lost. This was intolerable. As for the rumor that Ling Xiao had killed the Battle King, he did not believe it at all. Ling Xiao was only at the 7th level of the Shattered Core stage. How could he have killed the Battle King? A terrifying aura was released from Lei Xinglia's body. Blue lightning danced on his body. That was his martial soul. Lightning martial soul. This kind of natural type martial soul was very powerful, and it gave him too much confidence. Therefore, he wanted to use this opportunity to teach Ling Xiao a lesson today. Little did he know that he was looking for trouble for himself. Valkyrie, this is a battle between me and him. I hope you won't interfere. Lei Xinglia was still very afraid of Yang Shi. That was why he said it in advance. You're not worthy of Shi's attack. Ling Xiao said coldly. Since Lei Xinglia had sent himself to the door, then it was a good time to fight. The energy in his cultivation, had not increased for a long time. Perhaps this guy would be an opportunity. You're really as arrogant as the rumors say. Lei Xinglia looked at Ling Xiao and said coldly, I heard about your deeds in the chaotic desert sea. You're indeed terrifying. But how many of those deeds were done by you? Or did someone brag for you? Helped you become the Imperial Prince? Today, let me, Lei Xinglia, show you your true colors. Ling Xiao looked at Lei Xinglia. Geniuses were indeed arrogant. They were not willing to believe that the rumors were true unless they saw it with their own eyes or experienced it for themselves. Lei Xinglia's aura attracted many people to watch. Even the punishment commander Lin Hong walked out of his house. He stared coldly at Ling Xiao and quietly ordered the Lin Mansion's martial artists to set up the surroundings. Regardless of whether Ling Xiao won or lost this battle, he had to find an excuse to arrest Ling Xiao. There were too many crimes. It was fine as long as there was no need. After all, they had done this many times in the past. Noticing this, Ling Xiao only smiled coldly. It was just a boring trick. In front of powerful strength, all schemes and tricks were useless. Show me my true colors? Then do it, if you don't mind making a fool of yourself. Ling Xiao looked at Lei Xinglia and focused on the battle. A martial artist's cultivation was nothing more than increasing their cultivation and developing their martial soul. The higher the compatibility between a martial technique and martial soul, the more powerful it would be. Sometimes the martial soul would even be the key to martial arts cultivation. Mobile version update website. M. Chapter 4701. If one's martial soul and martial path could be combined, it would be the greatest gain for a martial artist. Lei Xinglia's martial soul was a thunder martial soul. Therefore, the martial path he took was also the thunder path. He comprehended thunder and lightning and controlled it. Even martial techniques and secret techniques were related to thunder and lightning. This meant that this kid was really doing well in this aspect. As the Thunder King's favorite disciple, Lei Xinglia had the title of Little Thunder God in Golden City. Naturally, he couldn't allow Ling Xiao to look down on him. Moreover, his strong jealousy made him dislike Ling Xiao. Since they couldn't get along, he didn't waste any more words and directly attacked Ling Xiao. He casually threw out a palm attack. A bright bolt of lightning shot out from his palm. This lightning wasn't ordinary lightning. As it was combined with martial path, it was even more powerful. Moreover, it could also unleash Lei Xinglia's full strength. This bolt of lightning came and went in a straight line. However, due to its extremely fast speed, one might not be able to dodge it even if they saw it. When the white silver dragon fought with Lei Xinglia, it was at a disadvantage in this aspect. At that moment, Ling Xiao seemed to see a lightning beast bearing its fangs and brandishing its claws. It opened its bloody mouth and wanted to swallow him whole. The lightning had yet to reach him, but he could already feel his skin going numb. He had to admit that Lei Xinglia's attack was really powerful. The difference between an attack that contained martial path and an ordinary attack was really huge. Martial artists were pursuing their own martial path from the moment they started practicing martial arts. However, in reality, it only started to take shape when one reached the divine body realm. This was because at this time a martial artist's physical body was even stronger and could withstand the enormous pressure brought about by martial path. After the divine body realm, the divine soul realm could be said to be the completion of the martial path. However, until now, Ling Xiao really hadn't seen a divine soul realm expert. Even the lotus flower had the aura of a divine body realm expert. This is probably your first time seeing such an attack, right? You'll be at a disadvantage if you underestimate me. Lei Xinglia sneered. Not everyone could combine martial path and attack after entering the divine body realm. This had a lot to do with the martial soul. Martial path fusion? It might be terrifying to others, but it's nothing to me. Another reason why Ling Xiao was able to challenge those of a higher level was that he had begun to fuse martial arts and martial arts very early on. This was mainly because his physical body was stronger than the average person's. Although he was just a divine core warrior, the strength of his body was much stronger than any divine body realm warrior Yang Kai had ever seen. This was the reason why he was able to fuse in advance Tao of Slaughter, Tao of Space, the Tao of Time, Heaven-defying Tao, the Way of the Tyrant, the Tao of Gods, Demonic Tao. Ling Xiao cultivated more martial arts than anyone else. Among them, the most mature were the Tao of Slaughter and the Tao of Hegemony. For the time being, the rest were just supporting roles. However, they could be fused with martial skills and were closely related to martial souls. The Tao of Slaughter represented the sun, divine, beast soul. The Way of the Tyrant represented the tyrant martial spirit. Comparatively speaking, Lei Xinglia's Tao of Lightning was not as good as his. He had only grasped the basics. However, he was already quite proficient in using it. More and more people appeared in front of the Lin Mansion. When they sensed Lei Xinglia's ferocious attack, they all wanted to see how Ling Xiao was going to deal with it. Yang Shi stood there calmly. She had no intention of helping. After what happened in the chaotic sand ocean, she wasn't worried about Ling Xiao at all. She had personally witnessed how strong Ling Xiao was from the chaotic sand ocean to the 3,000 holy city. She had witnessed how terrifying Ling Xiao was. In front of him, Lei Xinglia was nothing. What surprised everyone was that Ling Xiao didn't have any intention of helping. He just let the ferocious lightning strike his body. Feeling the potential in his body being released, Ling Xiao smiled. It worked. Although the energy in his cultivation base didn't increase by much, it was still an increase. It was better than staying stagnant. Your attack isn't good enough. After the lightning strike, Ling Xiao still looked at Lei Xinglia calmly. Little lightning god? Haha, you really like to put gold on your face. To be honest, in the chaotic sand ocean, I've seen too many idiots like you who overestimated themselves. Do you think you have better foresight than the Emperor? Even the Emperor conferred me the title of Emperor. Who do you think you are? How dare you look down on me? Ling Xiao's physical body was now at the terrifying level of a 9-dragon inscriptions Emperor weapon. Lei Xinglia's attack couldn't hurt him at all. He didn't even need to use his beast soul transformation or the sky tyrant martial soul. Humph. You're just relying on your Dharma treasure. What's so great about that? You have a Dharma treasure, so do I, Lei Xinglia snorted. He didn't believe that he had failed. He felt that Ling Xiao was relying on his Dharma treasure to block the attack. Therefore, he took out his Dharma treasure, a golden rod, a 4-dragon inscriptions Emperor weapon. With the help of the golden rod, the blue lightning gradually turned golden. Its power increased tremendously. If Ling Xiao's physical body was still at the 8-dragon inscriptions Emperor weapon, it would be a little troublesome. After all, the Emperor weapon and the power of the attack, it was much more terrifying than pure defense. There was a saying in the martial arts world, constant defense is bound to fail. If one only knew how to defend and didn't know how to attack, they would be at a great disadvantage. Golden lightning snake. Lei Xinglia roared. The entire space was covered by golden lightning. Many martial artists in the surroundings retreated. Lin Qin was also blocked by Lin Hong. Everyone could see how terrifying Lei Xinglia's attack was. 9 violent golden lightning snakes tore through the air at the same time and pounced towards Ling Xiao. If you have the ability, don't dodge. Lei Xinglia sneered. Hee, I won't dodge then. Do you think I'm afraid of your lousy attack? Ling Xiao sneered in disdain. He allowed the 9 golden lightning snakes to hit his body. He's too arrogant. Ling Xiao is playing with his life. The surrounding martial artists couldn't help but sigh. However, in the next moment, the lightning dissipated. Ling Xiao was still standing there unscathed and looked at Lei Xinglia mockingly. The energy in his cultivation finally increased to 10%. This meant that Lei Xinglia's attack was still very powerful. Of course, it was also related to Ling Xiao's cultivation level being lower that he could improve so quickly. After all, he was only at the 7th level of the Shattered Core realm. This is your strongest attack, right? It can't even break my defense. I really don't know what you're so proud of. Ling Xiao revealed a hint of disdain. Actually, if it wasn't because his physical body had advanced to the level of a 9-dragon pattern Emperor weapon, this time he really didn't dare to take it head-on. Even now, he couldn't take more than a few attacks from such a powerful attack. However, once was enough. You, what kind of sorcery did you use? Lei Xinglia definitely didn't believe that Ling Xiao was so powerful. Ever since he advanced to the 1st level of the divine body realm, as long as he used this move, no martial artist of the same level would be his match. However, this move was completely ineffective today. This made Lei Xinglia extremely shocked and terrified. He even took out his golden rod and still couldn't win. How terrifying was Ling Xiao? End of chapter. Chapter 47:02. I won't kill you today, but I must teach you a lesson. I'll teach you on behalf of your master. Don't meddle in other people's business when you don't have the ability. While they were talking, Ling Xiao entered the peerless heavenly rat beast soul transformation state. At the same time, he used the divine blood formation. The bloody rat's power reached the 2nd level. The possession of the sky tyrant martial soul was completed. He still went all out. Unless his cultivation could reach the half-step divine body realm, he might not need the sky tyrant martial soul when facing a 1st-level divine body realm martial artist. Fortunately, he could choose to possess the sky tyrant martial soul now, although he couldn't use its full power. But that was enough. The crimson blood demon sword was unsheathed. The reverse god art was activated. A sword light cut through the void. It was as if even God was trembling. The power of the reverse god art's one-word stance was even more terrifying. It was more than enough to deal with trash, like Lei Xinglia. After all, although the Crimson Blood Demon sword only had one dragon pattern, it was equivalent to an emperor weapon with 9 dragon patterns. Lei Xinglia didn't even have a chance to react. This sword light directly cut off one of his arms. This was after Ling Xiao went easy on him. Otherwise, Lei Xinglia wouldn't have had a chance to live. Lei Xinglia hugged his arm and held in pain. His eyes were filled with fear. There was no longer any jealousy in them. Ling Xiao was so powerful. No wonder Di Zun summoned him. He was too stupid today. Why did he stop him? Fortunately, he didn't want to kill him. Otherwise, he would have died. In fact, he had already given up all hope the moment the opponent's sword light attacked him. He thought he was going to die. Thank you for sparing my life. But if there's a chance, I'll still ask you for advice. Lei Xinglia endured the pain and left with his arms crossed. Although he admitted that Ling Xiao was terrifying, as a genius, he couldn't admit defeat just like that. If you just want to ask for advice, I welcome it. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He also frequently sparred with his friends and subordinates. Men, capture this person for me. How dare he fight in front of the Lin Mansion and injure little thunder god Lei Xingli? This commander suspects that he intends to assassinate. The moment the battle ended, Lin Hong acted according to his plan. More than a dozen half-step divine body realm martial artists pounced on Ling Xiao, wanting to capture him alive. Perhaps they thought that Ling Xiao's battle with Lei Xinglia had exhausted most of his energy. Perhaps now was the best time to capture Ling Xiao. Let's see who dares to move. Yang Shi sneered and released a terrifying aura. The dozen half-step divine physique realm martial artists simply couldn't withstand the impact and were sent flying. Valkyrie, what are you doing? Don't tell me you want to start an internal conflict? Lin Hong said furiously. This guy was really complaining about the victim first. He was clearly the one who crippled the white silver dragon's cultivation first. And now he was actually saying that Yang Shi wanted to incite internal strife. How shameless. I instigated internal strife? Were you the one who crippled the silver dragon? Yang Shi asked sternly. That's right. That trash was crippled by this old man. He came to the Lin Manor to slander me, and even tried to attack me. Naturally, I wouldn't let him go, so I crippled him. What? Valkyrie, don't tell me you want to start a war with the Punishment Hall because of this? Will the Flower King allow you to do that? Lin Hong sneered. This guy wasn't afraid of trouble at all. After all, the Punishment Hall was under the control of his master, the Punishment King, so he had the right to do whatever he wanted. No one else could do anything to him. So you admit it. Yang Shi stopped talking. Ling Xiao asked coldly. So what if I admit it? What can you do to me? Lin Hong looked at Ling Xiao with disdain. Although Ling Xiao defeated Lei Xinglia easily, Lei Xinglia was only a first-level divine body realm martial artist, after all. Lin Hong, on the other hand, was at the second-level divine body realm. The gap between them was huge. If he attacked, he had enough strength to defeat Lei Xinglia in one move. So, what do you think will happen? Have you forgotten who I am? I'm the Emperor's son, personally, conferred by the venerable Emperor. You're just a puny Punishment Hall commander, yet you don't kneel and greet me. You're even boasting shamelessly in front of me. Even if I kill you, the Punishment Hall won't be able to do anything. Ling Xiao said coldly. Ha 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 ha, do you really think you're a big shot? In front of this commander, you're not even a fart. Lin Hong laughed maniacally. Is that so? Ling Xiao couldn't be bothered to continue talking nonsense with this guy. At this time, he had to make his move. Holy ground, demonic shadow. In an instant, he disappeared from the spot and appeared behind Lin Hong. He had Lin Chen in his hands. Lin Hong knew that Ling Xiao was crazy, but he still underestimated Ling Xiao. Ling Zhao's speed was so fast that he couldn't react in time. Seeing that his son was captured, he panicked. "Kid, you better let Lin Qin go. Otherwise, I won't let you off," Lin Hong roared. "Believe it or not, I'll kill him if you spout nonsense again," Ling Xiao sneered. "Where's Yin Lihua? Send someone to release her. I believe that Lord Commander should be able to weigh the value of the two. Unless your son's life is less than a girl's. Wishful thinking," Lin Hong refuted. Ling Xiao didn't talk nonsense with him at all and directly chopped off one of Lin Chen's arms. Lin Chen started to beg for mercy amidst his shrill screams. Dad, quickly let that damn girl go. I don't want to die. Hold it." Lin Hong was also frightened when he saw Ling Zhao's actions. This was simply a lunatic who couldn't be judged with common sense. He could only let her go first. However, he had to use some strong medicine on the girl. He definitely couldn't take this loss. "Lord Commander, are you willing to let her go?" Ling Xiao sneered. "Humph." Lin Hong didn't say anything and immediately ordered his subordinates to bring Yin Lihua out. Not long after, Yin Lihua was brought out of the Lin Manor. Looking at the girl's appearance, Ling Xiao really wanted to cut Lin Qin into 1,000 pieces. Letting this guy die directly was letting him off easy. The girl was obviously frightened. Her eyes were lifeless, and she looked like a fool. What kind of torture did she go through? "Let's let her go at the same time." Ling Xiao took a deep breath. He thought of a way to let Lin Qin die miserably. It could be considered as revenge for Yin Lihua. No problem. Both sides quickly exchanged hostages. Ling Xiao wasn't afraid of any tricks. After all, his speed was faster than Lin Hong. The moment he took over Yin Lihua, Lin Hong suddenly launched an attack, wanting to kill both Ling Xiao and Yin Lihua at the same time. Ling Xiao sneered and pointed his finger. The void-shattering finger force, arrived first. This was how powerful the void transcendence realm was. Lin Hong saw the danger and hurriedly dodged. However, one of his ears was still cut off. Ling Xiao handed Yin Lihua over to Yang Shi to protect. Then he walked towards Lin Hong. Today, not only did he want to kill Lin Qin, he also wanted to kill Lin Hong. Killing Lin Qin was for Yin Lihua. Killing Lin Hong was for Bai Yinzalong. Ling Xiao, hurry up and leave. Suddenly, Yang Shi's expression changed. This was because she felt the aura of two Supreme Being experts quickly approaching. Chapter 4703. Damn it, Lin Hong. I'll let you live for 2 more days. I don't believe that Huang Jinding can protect you all the time. Ling Xiao also felt it. One was Huang Jinding's aura, and the other should be Lei Wang's. Because the aura of lightning was extremely dense, he wasn't a match for 2 Supreme Kings. It was better to leave first. Lin Hong, wash your neck and wait. I'll definitely take your dog life. Don't be left alone. Ling Xiao sneered and turned to leave after saying those words. It seemed that the next time he did this, he couldn't make too much of a commotion. Otherwise, Huang Jinding would definitely come to help. Even with the Tao of Fusion, he didn't have the confidence to defeat that old man. After all, he didn't know what kind of treasure that old man had. It wouldn't be good to throw his life away just to kill Lin Hong. Anyway, he would be in Golden City from now on. There would be plenty of opportunities to kill Lin Hong. First, he would kill Lin Qin and collect some interest. Where do you think you're going? Lin Hong wanted to chase, but Ling Xiao and Yang Shi's speed was too fast. In a blink of an eye, they had already disappeared. Father, save me. Right at this moment, Lin Chan wailed in pain. His body started to convulse and twist as if he was being bitten by thousands of poisonous insects. He couldn't die, but he had to endure a greater pain than death. Bastard, what did this guy do? Lin Hong grabbed his son, wanting to ease his pain. Unfortunately, it was useless. At this moment, Lei Wang and Punishment King arrived at the same time. They glanced at Lin Qin. What happened to him? Reporting to Punishment King, it's Ling Xiao, that brat. He used some unknown method to make Lin Qin like this. I beg you, please save him. Lin Hong hurriedly knelt down. This Ling Xiao is really daring. I haven't settled the grudge of killing my son with him. Now he's making a move on my disciple's son. I think he's really tired of living. Old Lei, why don't we go to Fire King Palace together? Punishment King looked at Lei Wang and asked. Of course, he dared to hurt my disciple. This matter won't end here. The Thunder King naturally came because of Lei Xinglia's matter. His disciple had suffered a great loss in front of so many people. He would never let this matter rest. The two Supreme Kings arrived at the Fire King Palace together. Fire King, hand over Ling Xiao. If any of them had come here, they would have been a little afraid of the Flame Emperor. However, if the two of them joined forces, there was no need to fear the Fire King. The Fire Emperor Yang Shi and Ling Xiao walked out of the Fire Emperor Palace. What are these two old fellows trying to do? I haven't shown my strength all these years. Are you guys itching for a beating? The Flame Emperor was only slightly stronger than the two of them. However, he had the monarch weapon with 9 dragon patterns that Ling Xiao had given him. What he was certain of was that the Thunder King and the Punishment Law King did not. Both of them only had 7 dragon runes on their monarch weapons. Therefore, he was not afraid of fighting 1 against 2. Even if he could not win, he would definitely be in an invincible position. Flame Emperor, don't be too arrogant. This brat Ling Xiao actually dared to injure my disciple. He has to give me an explanation for this. The Thunder King roared. Old Lei, I think you're regressing the more you cultivate. Many people saw the battle between your disciple and Ling Xiao. It's obvious that your disciple attacked first. With Ling Xiao's temper, he's already being lenient by not killing him. What are you still shouting for? Don't forget that Ling Xiao is the Emperor's son. Lei Xinglia dared to attack the Emperor's son. This is a capital offense. Do you want the Emperor to teach you what to do? The Flame Emperor sneered. I don't care. In any case, I'll find trouble with whoever hurts my disciple. The Thunder King was an extremely protective person. Moreover, the young Thunder God, Lei Xinglia, was his hope. He definitely did not want to see Lei Xinglia get hurt. F***CK, you won't listen to me. Since that's the case, we can only fight. Come at me, you two. I want to see, after so many years, how much have you guys improved? The Flame Emperor had always been hot-tempered. There were many things that he could not be bothered to explain. Since the two of them had come looking for him, he might as well solve the problem with a battle. Do you think I'm afraid of you? The Thunder King was also annoyed. After all, they were all Supreme Being Kings. Although he knew that he was slightly weaker than the Flame Emperor, he would definitely not suffer such a loss. The Punishment King sneered. He did not say much because he knew that he was not in the right. In any case, he just needed to join forces with the Thunder King. When Ling Xiao saw this scene, he was already prepared to use the Tao of Fusion. In any case, he could not let the Flame Emperor get hurt because of him. Just as the battle was about to break out, flower petals suddenly drifted down from the sky. A person descended from the sky. A fragrance assailed their nostrils. The 3 of you, have you forgotten the Emperor's words so quickly? The Golden City's calamity is about to arrive, and you still want to fight among yourselves? I really don't know what you guys are thinking. The person who had arrived was the Flower King, Luo Shi. The Emperor said that the 4 Supreme Being Kings cannot take action for the juniors. Their grudges will be settled by them. Your responsibility is to cultivate in seclusion and raise your cultivation. There's not much time left. If we can't stop the calamity, all of us will die. But that brat Ling Xiao is too despicable. He killed my son and attacked my disciple. If I don't kill him, how can I appease my anger? The Punishment King said angrily. Do you have so little confidence in your disciple? If you really want to fight, then I will. For the sake of fairness, I can only help Old Fire. The Flower Emperor stood beside the Flame Emperor and said indifferently, Old Fire, let's go. The Punishment Law King glared at Ling Xiao fiercely, then turned and left. Just like how Ling Xiao did not believe that the Punishment King could protect Lin Hong forever, the Punishment King also did not believe that the Flame Emperor could protect Ling Xiao forever. He left, but the Thunder King did not seem to have any intention of leaving. No matter what, I will get justice for my disciple today. This person was really stubborn. Master, don't embarrass yourself. Who told you to avenge me? At this moment, Lei Xingli arrived. When I recover, I will challenge Ling Xiao and get back my face. Now that you've caused trouble, the entire city of gold will see me as a joke. Lei Xingli was embarrassed. You brat! How dare you say that I've embarrassed you? Fine, I won't interfere in this matter. You can solve it yourself. After saying that, the Thunder King turned and left. Lei Xingli smiled awkwardly at the Flame Emperor Palace and left as well. The farce ended just like that. The Flower Emperor glanced at Ling Xiao. Good boy, you have to take care of yourself. The City of Gold is not as simple as you think. Don't be rash. Shui, how long are you going to disturb your Uncle Flame Emperor? Come back with me. On the surface, the Flower Emperor supported Ling Xiao, but in reality, she did not support anyone. She was a loyal supporter of Huang Jindi. At this stage, she only hoped that everything would be peaceful. No matter who caused trouble, she did not like it. Shui, go back with your master. Ling Xiao did not want to fall out with the Flower Emperor. As long as this woman remained neutral, it would be beneficial for him. Chapter 4704. Ling Xiao asked Jiang Shi to go with the Flower King because he didn't want to offend him. It would be troublesome if he got into a conflict with the other 3 supreme beings. Be careful. If you need anything, go to the Flower King Palace and find me immediately. Yang Shi thought about it. With Ling Xiao's strength and the Flame King's protection, he should be fine. She was about to break through to the 5th level of the Divine Body Realm. It was time for her to calm down and cultivate. Others might not believe in the future calamity, but she did. She couldn't be careless about it. After they left, Ling Xiao and the Flame King returned to the Flame King Palace. He let Yin Li out. He examined her body. What a vicious heart! Ling Xiao's expression changed. Poor girl. Not only was she humiliated and mentally injured, but Lin Hong also implanted a terrifying parasite in her body. Is there a way to save her? The Flame King asked. It's a little troublesome. Once this parasite is implanted in the body, it will fuse with the person's soul. If the parasite is killed, the person will die too. I need to think of a way to break it. Ling Xiao remembered that he had seen a similar record in the Eternal Divine Pill Scripture. He didn't read it at that time. He just glanced at it. However, this wasn't a problem. The Eternal Divine Pill Scripture was with him. He just needed to check it. What he needed to solve now was Yin Lihua's mental problem. The girl had obviously suffered a great deal of mental trauma. This kind of trauma couldn't be cured by any miracle medicine. If the body was injured, there was medicine. However, if the heart was dead, it would be troublesome. Why don't you give her a new memory? The Flame King suddenly said, Since she's already like this, let her forget this tragic experience. After that, kill Lin Hong and his son, as well as Lin Chen's accomplices. No one will know that Yin Lihua was treated like that. We won't tell anyone anyway. That's a good idea. Ling Xiao was overjoyed. He had the heavenly demon eye. He could change Yin Lihua's memory directly. Although this was just a replacement of that terrifying memory and couldn't be erased, it was already very good. He did as he said. He immediately started. This kind of thing was much easier than facing a powerful opponent. In less than 10 minutes, the problem was solved. Yin Li Hua's damaged soul was also repaired. Of course, some of the injuries on Yin Li Hua's body were also treated by Ling Xiao. This was much easier than repairing her soul. Thank you for saving my life, Your Highness. Yin Li Hua regained her senses and returned to her previous appearance. She was no longer so foolish. His modified memory had concealed some things. Yin Li Hua only remembered that she was kidnapped by Lin Qin and was saved by Ling Xiao. That was all. It's still too early to thank me. There are still many hidden dangers in your body. But don't worry, with me around, there won't be any problems. Ling Xiao said. Yes, Yin Li Hua's life was saved by Ling Xiao, so she had no reason to not believe in Ling Xiao. After that, Ling Xiao took Yin Li Hua to see Bai Muden. The old man and Yin Li Hua hugged each other and cried when they met. At the same time, he was extremely grateful to Ling Xiao. Child, I won't forget what you've done for us. There's a place that only I know about in the City of Gold. I'm going to take your woman there to get some things. It'll take at least a month, and at most 3 months. When she comes back, she'll definitely become stronger. It's a pity that you're not a woman. Otherwise, you'd be the most qualified to inherit these things. Bai Muden smiled. That's a good thing. Ling Xiao was originally worried that Yufanhua's strength might stagnate if she stayed in the Fire King's palace and couldn't cultivate. Not only was this unfair to him, but it was also very bad. Now, listening to the meaning of this, White Peony, it should be that the old senior who passed away left her something. She didn't want it. Now, it was going to be passed to Yufanhua. All right, since you believe me, young man, then send us over there. I don't have much fighting strength, but that place is very safe. As long as we enter, they can forget about hurting us. Bai Muden said, Li Hua will stay here for now. I know you have a way to help her. Of course. Ling Xiao nodded. Since he was going to save someone, he had to do it thoroughly. Moreover, Bai Muden had given him such a huge gift. All right, let's not delay any longer. Let's go. Bai Muden stood up. Ling Xiao put her and Yu Fanghua into the Dong Sheng Emperor Ring for the time being. He didn't want to attract too much attention. Even if they would encounter some trouble along the way, he was already mentally prepared. He would kill anyone who dared to provoke him. There was nothing much to say. The Fire King was still in the Fire King's palace. Ling Xiao left alone. The place that Bai Muden mentioned was actually in the Great Emperor Palace. Fortunately, Ling Xiao was the emperor's son and had enough status to enter the Great Emperor Palace as he wished. Otherwise, it would be troublesome. The moment Ling Xiao left the Fire King's palace, he was already discovered by someone. These people quickly reported this matter to Lin Hong. When Ling Xiao entered the Great Emperor Palace, he encountered trouble. 3 first-level divine physique echelon martial artists blocked his path. One look and one could tell that they were the punishment guards from the punishment hall. The uniform attire, it represented power and status. In the City of Gold, there weren't many people who dared to provoke them. Ling Xiao, come with us. The 3 punishment guards looked at Ling Xiao coldly and surrounded Ling Xiao. To be able to send 3 punishment guards, this meant that Lin Hong wasn't too stupid. Perhaps it was because he saw that Ling Xiao could defeat Lei Xinglia and felt that this was enough insurance. It was a pity that Lin Hong was going to miscalculate this time. How dare you block the emperor's son's path? Are you courting death? Ling Xiao didn't have time to dawdle with these pieces of trash. However, to be honest, it would feel good if he could have a fight. The last time he fought with Lei Xinglia, his cultivation sea's energy had increased by 10%. These 3 people weren't as strong as Lei Xinglia individually, but the 3 of them combined were definitely stronger than Lei Xinglia. For Ling Xiao, this might be an opportunity. This was how one's cultivation increased bit by bit. At this time, many martial artists who were cultivating in the Great Emperor Palace had gathered. Sure enough, no matter what time it was, There was no lack of people watching the show. It seemed that the last time Ling Xiao defeated Lei Xinglie, it had aroused the interest of these people. They wanted to see what Ling Xiao's upper limit was. To what extent could he be strong? Emperor's son? Hee, you're just an emperor's son in name. What's more, an emperor's son is guilty of the same crime as a commoner. You killed the innocent. Our punishment hall has the responsibility to arrest you for interrogation. The first punishment guard sneered. Surrender obediently so that you won't have to suffer any physical pain. Otherwise, we'll let you taste the power of the punishment guards today. The second punishment guard looked at Ling Xiao mockingly, as if Ling Xiao had become a turtle in a jar. There was no way he could escape from their hands. If you don't leave, kill. The third punishment guard's words were concise and also reflected the tyrannical nature of the punishment hall. Mobile version update website M. Chapter 4705. Who do you think will win? The onlookers really didn't mind blowing things up. The three punishment guards are all at the first level of the divine physique echelon. If I'm not mistaken, they're the same group of punishment guards. The punishment guards of the punishment hall always move in groups of 3. Their coordination is very good. Taking down martial artists of the same level is a piece of cake. Even a martial artist at the second level of the divine physique echelon would have to flee pathetically in front of them. As for Ling Xiao, he's a little strange. His cultivation is only at the 7th level of the Shattered Core realm. However, he easily defeated the young thunder god, Lei Xinglie. Some people suspect that he used a Dharma treasure. I think so too. No one knows what the ancestor gave him when he summoned him. Therefore, the outcome of this battle is still unknown. One of the older martial artists commented, Haha, you underestimate the punishment guards too much. Do you think that they don't have an emperor weapon? Moreover, their emperor weapon is specially made to restrain martial artists. Whoever gets hit by it will be in trouble. If Ling Xiao is caught by the punishment hall, even if he's the emperor's son, he'll be finished. Rumor has it that the ancestor wants Ling Xiao to compete for the Golden Sovereign's position. That's simply overpraising him. With his strength, how can he compete with the 4 Supreme Being Kings? That makes sense. Even without the 4 Supreme Being Kings, there are still many people more suitable than Ling Xiao. Valkyrie Yang Shi, young thunder god, Lei Xinglie and king of many treasures, Huang Jinyu are all more suitable than him. Speaking of king of many treasures, Huang Jinyu is probably stronger than Valkyrie, right? In the entire Golden City, other than the ancestor, he probably has the most treasures. Rumor has it that he has tens of thousands of treasures. Amidst the discussion, the crowd gave Ling Xiao a certain amount of affirmation. However, at the same time, they didn't believe that he could compete with the top existences in the Golden City. After all, other than the people from the Fire King Palace, Ling Xiao wasn't very popular in the Golden City. There were even many people who were unhappy with him. He killed the Battle King, Huang Jinlan, and caused the Golden City to lose a super genius. This didn't make sense. Speaking of which, these people were really strange. They did not believe that Ling Xiao had the strength to kill a Battle King. Yet, he blamed the Battle King's death on Ling Xiao. What a contradiction. Ling Xiao sneered. All these discussions were meaningless. The key was still strength. If he was really taken away by these 3 punishment guards today, then it would be as these people said. If he could defeat these 3 punishment guards, there would be more people who would acknowledge his strength and identity as an imperial prince. Ling Xiao, the eyes of the masses are clear. Do you really think you can defeat the 3 of us by yourself? Number 1 punishment guard looked at Ling Xiao provocatively. His eyes were filled with disdain. Ling Xiao sneered. He was too lazy to argue. Facts will prove everything. Seeing Ling Xiao's laughter, the 3 punishment guards were instantly enraged. This Ling Xiao really didn't put them in his eyes. Number 2 punishment guard wanted to say something, but Ling Xiao had already made his move. "You guys talk too much nonsense. I still have things to do." As he spoke, he had already transformed into the ultimate heavenly rat beast soul. At the same time, he released the sun god's blood formation and possessed the tyrant martial soul. He also took out the void god sword and the crimson blood demon sword, facing 3 powerful punishment guards at the first level of the divine body realm at the same time. He did not dare to be careless. He tried his best to use all the methods that he could. Only the body of 3 supremes, which was similar to a cheat, was useless. If he really used it, the meaning of this battle would be lost. The void god's sword had a strange shape and a wide blade. If the hand strength was insufficient and the true origin was insufficient, it would be difficult to control it with one hand. The crimson blood demon sword, on the other hand, was a true one-handed sword. The 3-inch blade was like blood. It exuded a terrifying, murderous aura. When the 2 swords were unsheathed, the entire air was filled with the thick smell of death and blood. Those with good eyesight would realize that the current Ling Xiao was like a different person from before. Looks like the rumor that he's a beast god martial artist is true. So what if he's a beast god martial artist without a high-level deity position? His strength is no different from an ordinary beast god martial artist. Even though Ling Xiao had already displayed a powerful aura, there were still people who were disdainful of him. The commander said that if Ling Xiao resists, we'll kill him without mercy. Murderous intent flashed through the eyes of punishment guard number 1. It was not that he was ruthless, but because of the murderous intent that Ling Xiao released, he had no choice but to be ruthless. He did not dare to be careless. They had seen many experts and had also fought with many experts. They knew very well that someone like Ling Xiao was definitely not easy to deal with, but they were not afraid. If it was one-on-one, they might not be Ling Xiao's match. But if the 3 of them worked together, the situation was completely different. The 3 of them were completely connected, although there was still a gap between them and one person. But they were already very close. If Ling Xiao were to deal with one of them, he would immediately be attacked crazily by the other 2. It's about to begin. Everyone disperse. Seeing that the battle was about to begin, everyone had no intention of interfering. Instead, they retreated a distance. It would be bad if the fish in the moat were to be implicated. Ling Xiao held the reverse god sword in his right hand and the crimson blood demon sword in his left. The 2 swords did not have a primary or secondary. As for which was primary and which was secondary, everything would be clear in the battle. The 2 swords activated their vital essence at the same time. The reverse god sword released a heaven-defying Tao, the aura of death. The crimson blood demon sword released pure, murderous intent. The sword of the massacre emperor lived up to its reputation. That murderous intent made countless people tremble in fear. Without a doubt, the reverse god art was an existence that surpassed the saint-level cultivation technique. It was a pity that Ling Xiao was still unable to comprehend the true essence of the reverse god art. Perhaps it was because his cultivation was not enough, his spiritual realm had not reached that level, and his martial arts had not reached that level. However, just the reverse god art's one-word form was able to display the power of a second-level, saint-level cultivation technique. It was obvious how powerful it was. As for the beast god sky-devouring flash, it was indeed a saint-level martial arts technique. Its power had already reached the power of a third-level, saint-level cultivation technique. The 3 punishment guards were only first-level divine, physique echelon martial artists. The saint-level cultivation techniques that they could cultivate were usually only first-level saint-level. At most, they could reach second-level saint-level. Therefore, Ling Xiao was very confident. In terms of speed, Ling Xiao was much faster. The Holy Ground Demonic Shadow was a 10th-level, saint-level cultivation technique. It was one of the top saint-level cultivation techniques. Although Ling Xiao could not display its true power with his current cultivation level, it was at least equivalent to a 4th level, saint level movement technique. It would definitely crush the 3 punishment guards. The punishment guards' cooperation was indeed outstanding. Ling Xiao's first attack came to an abrupt end. However, the punishment guards did not gain any advantage. Ling Xiao was much faster than them. Therefore, they did not seize the opportunity to deal a fatal blow to Ling Xiao. This kid is extremely fast. Let's use that Dharma treasure. The punishment hall was the most powerful place in the City of Gold. At the same time, it was also the wealthiest place. The punishment guards were basically equipped with many different Dharma treasures to restrain different enemies. Naturally, they had encountered speed-type enemies before. Therefore, they were not afraid. Mobile version update website. M. Chapter 4706. Golden Fishing Net. The name was very tacky, but it was an emperor weapon with 4 dragon patterns. It seemed that the Punishment King had put in a lot of effort in order for the Punishment Hall to control the Golden City. He could even equip them with such a level of emperor weapon. The 3 of them roared angrily. Everything within a radius of 1 mile was covered by the golden fishing net. It was shining. Ling Xiao had nowhere to hide. No matter how fast he was, he couldn't escape in an instant, unless he could teleport. Moreover, the golden fishing net condensed the divine essence of the 3 of them. Its power was enough to destroy an emperor weapon with 8 dragon patterns. Even an emperor weapon with 9 dragon patterns would be shattered. A simple emperor weapon was not as magical as one imagined. Treasures could only unleash their terrifying power in the hands of martial artists. Can Ling Xiao block such a powerful attack? Everyone looked at Ling Xiao, wanting to see how Ling Xiao would deal with it. These 3 punishment guards are merciless. They even used the golden fishing net to deal with Ling Xiao. There's nothing they can do about it. Ling Xiao is too fast. Ordinary attacks can't hit him at all. Stop talking, look. Everyone looked at the golden fishing net. The 3 punishment guards revealed cold smiles. Instead of capturing Ling Xiao alive, they thought it would be better to just kill him. So what if he was an emperor? It wasn't as if the punishment hall had never killed a disciple before. As long as the punishment king didn't fall, they had the guts. Ling Xiao sneered disdainfully. It's just a small trick. You're wrong to use a magic treasure to deal with me. Ling Xiao channeled his divine essence into the reverse god sword. Then he stabbed out. The reverse god sword suddenly turned into the appearance of Taotai in midair. It opened its bloody mouth. It swallowed the golden fishing net in one gulp. Everyone thought that there was something wrong with their eyes. That was an emperor weapon with 4 dragon patterns. It was broken so easily. Was there a mistake? Punishment guards, you're just SOSO. Although the 3 of you cooperate very well. But I've already discovered your weakness. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, What other powerful things do you have? I want to see just how much courage the punishment hall has given you. You even dared to kill the crown prince. Interesting. Number 1 was startled for a moment. Then he smiled and said, I've never seen a divine core warrior who can make us so excited. Looks like I have to get serious today. Otherwise, I won't be able to take you down. Disciplinary guard number 2 also said, You have the qualifications to make us go all out. Kill. Third punishment guard's words were still simple and clear. There was no need to talk so much nonsense. The 3 people finished talking, and suddenly all started urging divine essence. They seemed to be performing a special combination skill. With their powerful auras, the surrounding spirit chi began to become violent. That's the combination skill of the punishment guard. There were still experts in the crowd. I just don't know what kind of combination skill it is. Rumor has it that every punishment guard group has a unique combination skill. It required 3 people to work together to cast it. Once it was used, it would be extremely powerful. The three of them should know a first-level saint rank martial art, but once they work together to perform the combination skill, the power of the combination skill can reach the second-level saint rank, or even stronger. To be able to force the punishment guard to use the combination skill, Ling Xiao isn't weak. It makes sense that he was able to defeat little thunder god Lei Xinglia. Not bad. Looks like he does have some tricks up his sleeve, but that's all. After all, his cultivation base was too low to face the combination technique of the punishment guards. He can't do anything against the punishment guard. Just as the crowd was discussing in the middle of the three punishment guards, an illusory giant appeared. The giant was wearing golden armor. It held a long blade in its hand. It was mighty and extraordinary. Combination skill, Golden War God. The Golden War God was about 10 meters tall. Although it was an illusory body, it could do everything the real body could do. It possessed 90% of the divine essence of the three punishment guards, and 80% of the total strength of the three. Although it wasn't the Tao of Fusion, it was very close to Ling Xiao's Tao of Fusion. The moment the Golden War God appeared, it slashed down with the long blade in its hand. The violent blade technique was simple and direct. The pressure it brought made Ling Xiao feel that the energy in his cultivation sea was skyrocketing. He couldn't help but reveal a joyful expression. This was exactly the effect he wanted. It looked like today's battle wasn't in vain. The energy in his cultivation sea was close to 20% now. If he could block this move, 20% would definitely not be a problem. The path of martial arts was extremely magical. Different Daos could give rise to different attacks and different moves. Combining martial arts with martial arts was what the divine body realm had to do in the future. What an interesting combination skill. Maybe I can consider playing with it. Ling Xiao had 4 venerable bodies: true body, divine venerable, demon venerable, and de-venerable, although the other 4 had a higher starting point. Unless there was a fortuitous encounter, it was almost impossible for them to advance. The only chance to advance was for Ling Xiao's true body to become stronger than the other 3. In this way, the 3 venerable bodies would change with the true body strength and reach the same realm as the true body. At that time, it would be impossible to not have some combination skills. After all, the Tao of Fusion couldn't be used frequently. Of course, these were all things to consider in the future. What he had to do now was to defeat this golden battle god. Ling Xiao's right hand condensed the god-defying arts unification form. His left hand condensed the beast god sky-devouring flash. 2 types of martial arts were released at the same time. The terrifying power was evident. A terrifying sword light erupted. The first sword light directly destroyed the terrifying blade aura. The blade aura shattered, and a wave of energy scattered. The second sword light directly destroyed the golden battle god. However, Ling Xiao's attack didn't end there, because he knew that the other party wouldn't die so easily. Therefore, after using 2 sword moves, a demon Buddha appeared above Ling Xiao's head. It released a bright Buddha light. Black Lotus Treasure Light. The Black Lotus Treasure Light and Holy Ground Demonic Shadow were both level 10 saint class techniques. One could imagine how terrifying its power was. The 3 punishment guards spat out blood almost at the same time. The golden battle god was also completely destroyed. This is too fast. There was a burst of exclamations from the crowd. Ling Xiao defeated the 3 punishment guards in the end almost effortlessly. Many people even suspected that he might still have strength left. Ling Xiao, stop! A loud shout came from the crowd. Ling Xiao knew who shouted. That person was wearing the clothes of Punishment Hall. He should also be a commander of Punishment Hall. When he was suppressed previously, that person didn't say anything. Now that he saw that the punishment guards were defeated, he stood up and shouted. But how could Ling Xiao be so easy to deal with? He stepped forward and directly took the lives of the 3 punishment guards with the god-defying sword. Then he used the holy ground demonic shadow and left in front of everyone. You were disrespectful to me and even wanted to kill me. You deserve to die. If anyone still wants to die, I'm happy to accompany you. These were the words Ling Xiao left for everyone. End of this chapter. Chapter 4707. After killing the 3 guards, Ling Xiao immediately left. The most important thing right now was to send by Murin and Yufeng Huawei. This time, he didn't encounter any trouble. Half an hour later, Bai Murin used a token to open up a teleportation path in a certain grid in the Great Emperor Palace. After sending them in, the path was sealed. Ling Xiao turned around and prepared to return to the Fire King Palace. However, at the place where he killed the guards, the commander of the Punishment Palace, Lin Hong, and 10 other guards were waiting. Lin Hong hated Ling Xiao to the bone. His son, Lin Qin, had suffered horrifying torture and finally died. The scene of his death was simply terrifying. His entire body had turned into a shriveled corpse. It was as if all the water in his body had been sucked dry. At that time, Lin Hong swore, even if he died, he would avenge his son. Today, the opportunity had finally arrived. Ling Xiao came out alone. He didn't have any helpers with him. The Punishment King had already paid a visit to the Fire King Palace. In fact, he was just stalling for time. As long as he killed Ling Xiao, everything would become simple. With the Punishment King's protection, he wouldn't be able to do anything. Wow, this is truly a case of searching high and low for something, only to find it without any effort. Lin Hong thought that Ling Xiao could kill them alone. Ling Xiao also thought that since the Punishment King wasn't with Lin Hong, this was an opportunity. Ling Xiao, are you still happy now? The Fire King won't come to save you, and neither will the Valkyrie. The Flower King won't let the Valkyrie come back. As for the Fire King, with the Punishment King blocking him, he won't come either. So today you're dead. No one can save you. Lin Hong looked at Ling Xiao and said fiercely, you actually killed my son for that bitch in Lihua. Today, I will cut you into pieces. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Don't you want to kill me? Just do it. Perhaps in the eyes of others, you're a high and mighty punishment commander, but in my eyes, you're nothing. You're just a pile of shit. Ling Xiao mocked. This time, the other party had the intention to kill him. Therefore, of the 10 disciplinary guards that Lin Hong brought with him, 6 of them were at the first level of the divine physique echelon. The remaining 4 were half-step divine body echelon cultivators. Obviously, he was wary because Ling Xiao had killed 3 punishment guards before. If 3 wasn't enough, then 6. In addition, there were 4 half-step divine physique realm martial artists. He didn't believe that Ling Xiao wouldn't die. To be honest, if Ling Xiao was an ordinary person, Lin Hong's plan would have been foolproof. Unfortunately, Ling Xiao was never an ordinary person. Looking at these warriors today, Ling Xiao's heart was filled with excitement. The energy in his cultivation was going to increase again. You're just brave enough. I really admire you for that. Lin Hong smiled coldly and said, attack together. Kill this brat for this commander. Remember, cut him into pieces. Don't let him die too easily. He wasn't ready to attack yet because he wanted to see what tricks Ling Xiao had up his sleeves. If he joined in the middle of the battle, it would be easier to kill Ling Xiao. How could Ling Xiao not know what this guy was thinking? However, he had the body of 3 supremes. How could he allow Lin Hong to sneak up on him at the crucial moment? He definitely had a way to stop the other party. Soon, the 10 disciplinary guards surrounded Ling Xiao. The half-step divine physique echelon cultivators attacked with all their might. The divine physique echelon cultivators surrounded Ling Xiao and attacked him. This strategy could be said to be perfect. If the half-step divine physique echelon cultivators didn't need to defend themselves and still had Dharma treasures in their hands, Their attack power was enough to injure the divine physique echelon cultivators. Even if they had to grind Ling Xiao down, they would definitely grind him to death. In addition to the 6 people surrounding Ling Xiao, there were exactly 2 groups. Each group was good at cooperating. The difficulty of this was extremely high. The number of spectators for this battle was unprecedented. Even many of the City of Gold's higher-ups were here. The disciplinary hall is going to bully people again. Isn't that so? Ever since Huang Jinding became the disciplinary king, the disciplinary hall has basically become his tool to eliminate dissidents. It's a pity that a venerable sovereign hasn't appeared for over 100 years. That's why they have this opportunity. To be honest, I actually hope that Ling Xiao can win and break the rules of the disciplinary hall. However, this is extremely difficult. Previously, Ling Xiao was only dealing with that disciplinary guard. It seems like he already gave it his all. Now he's facing 6 divine physique echelon cultivators and 4 half-step divine physique echelon cultivators. There's also a disciplinary commander eyeing him covetously. It's easy to imagine his ending. In the past 100 years, many people have tried to rebel against the disciplinary hall. It seems that other than venerable sovereigns, no one has succeeded. While the crowd was discussing, the intense battle had already begun. 6 first-level divine physique echelon cultivators and 4 half-step divine physique echelon cultivators joined forces. In such a situation, even a 2nd-level divine physique echelon cultivator wouldn't be able to escape. Even Lin Hong, the disciplinary commander, was definitely not a match for these people. He did this purely to disgust Ling Xiao. So what if you're the emperor's son? Your power isn't as great as mine. Ling Xiao didn't underestimate these people from the beginning. He used the unbounded heavenly rat beast soul transformation, the sun god's blood formation, and the tyrannical martial soul possession. At the same time, he also took out the crimson blood demon sword and the reverse god sword. One could say that he was fully prepared. Let's start with the half-step divine physique echelon cultivators. Facing the opponent's attack, Ling Xiao used the holy ground demonic shadow and dodged it easily. If he didn't want to fight, these people wouldn't even be able to touch him. The main reason was that they were too fast. Be careful! One of the first-level divine physique echelon cultivators was probably at the first-level superior level. In any case, among these people, he was the strongest apart from Lin Hong. Seeing Ling Xiao disappear, he realized that something was wrong and hurriedly shouted. Unfortunately, it was still a little too late. A bloody wound appeared between the eyebrows of the 4 half-step divine physique echelon cultivators. Then, the 4 bodies fell to the ground. They turned into shriveled corpses. The whole process happened in the blink of an eye. Many of the onlookers were still lamenting Ling Xiao's bad luck. Lin Hong was even mocking Ling Xiao for overestimating himself. In the end, it turned out like this. What kind of movement technique is he cultivating? I noticed it before. His speed is simply too fast. It's at least a 3rd-level sacred movement technique. What happened to this kid? Looks like we can't underestimate this person. The onlooker's mentality gradually changed. Lin Hong's mentality also changed a little. However, he still didn't make a move. Although 4 half-step divine physique echelon cultivators died, he understood one thing. Ling Xiao's speed was extremely fast. He noted it down. When he made a move later, he would deliberately pay attention to this point. This kid is very strange. It's better to restrain him before killing him. Otherwise, our speed won't be as fast as his. One of them said loudly, "Just leave it to us." One of the trio's combination techniques was specifically used to restrain the enemy. The 3 of them activated their divine energy at the same time. All of a sudden, a strange puppet appeared in the void. End of chapter. Chapter 4708. The puppet appeared behind Ling Xiao in an instant. Then the puppet's stomach actually opened, and Ling Xiao was pulled in. Ling Xiao was trapped and couldn't escape. This was the best time to kill him. He still can't escape death. There was a sigh from the crowd. How could Ling Xiao still be alive when he was trapped? Attack! The other group of 3 immediately launched an attack. He blasted the puppet with his fist. This puppet had a special characteristic. It could directly transfer the attack from the outside to the trapped martial artist. However, it wouldn't be hurt at all. Worried that Ling Xiao wouldn't die, Lin Hong, who had been watching, also attacked. The trio performed a combination technique. Lin Hong used his ultimate move. Most martial artists in the first level of the divine body realm would be killed instantly. Even martial artists in the second level of the divine body realm would be seriously injured. They didn't believe that Ling Xiao wouldn't die. The prince is gone just like that. I wonder how the Fire Emperor will react. The Fire Emperor probably won't go against the punishment hall for a dead person, right? The crowd discussed and felt that this show might have ended. There was no need to continue watching. The trio who performed the puppet technique were still afraid that Ling Xiao wouldn't die. In the end, they caused the puppet to self-destruct. A terrifying explosion sounded. A cloud of smoke curled up. Everyone thought that Ling Xiao was dead for sure. I've avenged you. Lin Hong roared to the sky. However, at this moment, a blood-red sword light cut through the void. The punishment guards who had completely given up on defense. The sword light actually pierced through 3 of them. Their hearts were cold. In an instant, the 3 of them fell to the ground, no longer breathing. Before Lin Hong could react, the other 3 punishment guards were also torn into pieces by the distorted void. At this point, all 10 punishment guards were killed. Lin Hong looked in that direction in horror. A person walked out of the smoke and dust and patted the dust off his body, although there was still blood at the corner of his mouth. His clothes seemed to be new. The old ones were probably completely ruined. Really, if you want to kill me, why did you have to ruin my clothes? Ling Xiao looked at Lin Hong with a smile. I'm afraid your chin is still unable to close his eyes. Why don't you go down to accompany him? After enduring a series of attacks, Ling Xiao had suffered serious internal injuries. His opponent's attack was indeed domineering. Even though his physical body was equivalent to a 9-dragon inscription's monarch weapon, he would still get injured, and it wasn't light. However, he had already eaten a healing pill. What made him happy was that this attack had increased the energy in his sea of cultivation by 30%. It had reached 50%. Not only that, but his physical strength also seemed to have improved. That was something worth celebrating. What kind of monster are you? Lin Hong looked at Ling Xiao, losing all his previous arrogance. His heart was filled with fear. Ling Xiao originally wanted to use the battle with Lin Hong to increase his strength. Now, Lin Hong didn't seem to have any fighting spirit left. I accidentally scared him. What a pity. Ling Xiao sighed. Forget it. Since he's useless, I'll just kill him. Lin Hong was currently within the range of his sun god's blood formation. His body had long been hollowed out by the bloodthirsty plague. His strength was probably at the first level of the divine physique echelon. Ling Xiao raised the crimson blood demon sword and used the beast god's sky devouring flash. The moment he used this move, the beast god's sky devouring flash's level increased again. From the initial level to the proficient level, its power also increased from the 3rd level of the saint level to the 4th level. How could the weakened Lin Hong block it? When the sword light pierced through Lin Hong's head, he didn't seem to have any reaction. The surrounding people were also completely dumbfounded, until Lin Hong fell to the ground with his face facing the sky. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. He's not dead yet. Ling Xiao looked at Lin Hong. This guy was actually still alive. Although Lin Hong was smart and wanted to play dead, how could he escape from Ling Xiao's Tai Chi eye? Ling Xiao walked over and stepped on Lin Hong's body. A mocking voice sounded. Aren't you very awesome as the Punishment Hall's commander? Why did he have to feign death to escape now? Don't you feel ashamed? Ling Xiao, you're finished. Even if you kill me today, you're also finished. I'll be waiting for you on the road to the Yellow Springs. Lin Hong couldn't pretend anymore. He opened his eyes helplessly and glared at Ling Xiao fiercely. You dared to kill the Punishment Hall's people. You're challenging the Golden City's rules. You'll die miserably. Even an emperor won't be able to save you. This rule was set by the Golden City's emperors. Even the current emperors can't overturn it. Idiot. Ling Xiao laughed disdainfully. You want to talk about rules with me? Fine, let's talk about the rules. Your idiot son tried to harm the previous Golden Emperor's widow and daughter. As the Punishment Hall's commander, you actually dared to die suddenly. Do you know what kind of crime this is? I know the Punishment Hall can cover the sky with one hand, but the Emperor isn't dead yet. You actually dared to do this. This time, you tried to assassinate this Emperor's son. According to the rules, you still can't escape death. Even the Punishment Hall's king can't save you. What widow are you talking about? Lin Hong was stunned. The Golden Sky region's third emperor's widow by Peony. Others may not know about this, but our ancestor is probably well aware of it. Ling Xiao sneered. Impossible. It's impossible. That woman doesn't even have the strength to truss a chicken. How could she? Lin Hong was completely dumbfounded because he realized what a stupid mistake he had made. No wonder Ling Xiao dared to kill so unscrupulously. Punishment Hall's reputation wasn't good to begin with. With this incident, Ling Xiao would definitely be secretly praised by many, and their Punishment Hall's reputation would be even worse. Hee, now that you know the truth, it's time to send you on your way. Go and reunite with your precious son. Ling Xiao sneered and used the Void God's sword to suck Lin Hong dry. This time, Lin Hong could be considered to be completely dead, looking at the 14 corpses on the ground. 9 first-level Divine Body Realm Punishment Guards, 4 half-step Divine Body Realm Punishment Guards, and a second-level Divine Body Realm Punishment Commander. The surrounding people all sucked in a breath of cold air. Well done! Suddenly, a voice came from the crowd. That's right, this is so King satisfying. Punishment Hall has done more than 1 or 2 despicable things over the years. This time, they actually dared to attack the previous emperor's widow. They deserve to die. It seems like there's a reason why the emperor chose Ling Xiao to be the emperor's son. What's going to happen next will probably be more interesting. Emperor's son, hurry up and run back to the Fire King Palace. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble. At this moment, someone shouted, That's right, Emperor's son. You've killed so many Punishment Hall martial artists. There's no way they'll let you go. We all have high hopes for you. But now is not the time to have a direct confrontation with Punishment Hall. Hearing these people's words, Ling Xiao couldn't help but sigh. How many things had Punishment Hall done that angered the heavens? There were actually so many people who wanted them to be unlucky. Mobile version update website. M. Chapter 4709. In fact, Ling Xiao was already prepared to be despised by countless people after killing them. But now it seemed like he was enforcing justice on behalf of the heavens. In the past, these people did not dare to make a sound because they could not go against the Punishment Hall. So they did not dare to make a sound. But now that there was Ling Xiao, this vanguard, they naturally had to support him. Get lost! Right at this moment, an angry roar sounded. Ling Xiao heard it clearly. This was clearly the voice of the Punishment King. This old man really could not keep his composure. He wanted to kill Ling Xiao as soon as he arrived to avenge his disciple, Lin Hong. However, how could the Fire Emperor, who had long pledged allegiance to Ling Xiao, let him succeed? These 2 people arrived at the same time. Each of them had brought a lot of experts with them. Seeing the Punishment King make a move, the Fire Emperor suddenly attacked, forcing the Punishment King back. The two Supreme Kings suddenly fought, scaring the surrounding cultivators into retreating. This was called a fight between immortals. They could not afford to provoke it. Ling Xiao stood there calmly, watching the two immortals fight as if this matter had nothing to do with him. Fire Emperor, do you still want to protect this cruel lunatic? The Punishment King roared. This person killed his fellow disciples, and the corpses are all there. And these people who died were the loyal punishment guards and punishment commanders of the City of Gold. Ling Xiao killed them, which is challenging the rules of the City of Gold. Don't you think he deserves to die? Don't try to bluff your way out there. You know better than anyone what kind of thing your punishment hall is. All these years, I couldn't be bothered to care about you guys because I didn't care about the position of the Golden Sovereign. Today, if you dare to hurt the Imperial Prince, I dare to fight you to the death. It was rare for the Fire Emperor to be calm. He was in the right today, so what did he not dare to say? The punishment guards and punishment commanders killed the Imperial Prince and deserve to die. If they die like this, it will be too easy for them. You bastard! The Punishment King could not beat the Fire Emperor in a fight, nor could he win in an argument. After holding it in for a long time, he could only say this sentence. But today it was absolutely impossible for the Punishment King to let Ling Xiao go so easily. In terms of quantity and quality, his king's mansion and the Punishment Hall's experts were superior to the Fire King's palace. What could the Flame Emperor do to him alone? Ling Xiao looked at the Law Enforcement King's flustered and exasperated appearance and felt very happy in his heart. He noticed that other than the Fire Emperor and the Punishment Emperor, the Thunder Emperor had also arrived. He was standing in the crowd, but he had no intention of interfering. Obviously, they were here to watch the show. Many other king-level experts, who were second only to the four kings, had also come. However, the Flower King and the Valkyrie Yangshi didn't come. Do you all have nothing better to do? I've only killed a few extremely vicious villains. Is such a small matter worthy of so many people coming to watch? Ling Xiao looked around and laughed. Everyone was a little surprised. Facing the Disciplinary Law King and the Thunder Sovereign, Ling Xiao still appeared insufferably arrogant. Just what kind of trump card did this kid have? Small matter? You've killed the Punishment Hall's martial artists. Killing someone from the Punishment Hall isn't a small matter. Even if they're in the wrong, they still have to accept the punishment of the Punishment Hall. You can't just do whatever you want. The Law Enforcement King roared. Tisk, TSK, TSK. Old man, I think you've gone senile. Ling Xiao looked at Huang Jinding with a cold smile and said, You've been in charge of the Punishment Hall all these years, but you don't even know the rules of the Punishment Hall? If a martial artist attempts to assassinate or kill a king-level martial artist or crown prince, you can deal with it yourself. You'd better give up your position. The Punishment Hall is really not suitable for someone with Alzheimer's disease like you. No matter how eloquent the Law Enforcement King was, he couldn't win against Ling Xiao's mouth. Ever since Ling Xiao came to this day from the heavenly dragon continent, his mouth had never lost to anyone. Haha, what a sharp tongue. The one who spoke wasn't the Law Enforcement King, but a middle-aged man beside him. He was probably the legendary king of many treasures, Huang Jinyu. Huang Jinyu, as his name suggested, was dressed extravagantly. Although the clothes he was wearing weren't treasures, they were worth at least 10 supreme-grade spirit stones. One supreme-grade spirit stone was equivalent to 10 million superior-grade spirit stones. Many martial artists couldn't get so many spirit stones in their lifetime, but Huang Jinyu's clothes were so expensive. Huang Jinyu had a smile on his face. His eyes were narrowed, and the smile on his face was too fake. Ling Xiao felt that this guy was definitely a smiling tiger. He didn't seem angry, but he was already filled with killing intent. This guy was definitely strong. Although he wasn't as strong as the four kings, he was still troublesome. Also, Ling Xiao saw another person in the crowd. Speaking of which, it was strange. This person looked ordinary, wore ordinary clothes, and was only at the first level of the divine body realm. Ling Xiao couldn't see anything with his Tai Chi eye, but the more he was like this, the more Ling Xiao felt that this person was special. "Kid, what's your name?" Ling Xiao asked directly. "Your Highness, I'm Yang Fan." That person said respectfully. If it was an ordinary person, they wouldn't care too much after seeing his attitude. However, Ling Xiao frowned slightly. The more calm this person was, the more normal he was. The more troublesome it was for him. Interesting. I didn't expect there to be such a strong person in the criminal law king's residence. I'm afraid Huang Jinyu is trash in your eyes. Ling Xiao sneered. Usually, this kind of person definitely didn't have good intentions. They were extremely strong, but they kept a low profile. That meant they had to do something that others couldn't find out. A hint of ruthlessness flashed in Yang Fan's eyes. Originally, he was a small character that no one would notice, but after Ling Xiao said that, even if others didn't believe him, they wouldn't completely ignore him. There were many things that couldn't be carried out smoothly. I don't care who you are or what you want to do. You'd better behave in Golden City. Ling Xiao sneered and didn't look at Yang Fan anymore. Your Highness is indeed impressive. If it was someone else, they would probably be scared speechless. Yet, you dare to threaten someone from the criminal law king's residence? How much courage does he have? More and more people in the crowd admired Ling Xiao. Most of these people didn't have any background. Of course, they hoped that Ling Xiao could break the monopoly of the criminal law king's residence. The criminal law king's residence is here. Get out of the way. At this moment, there was another commotion. A group of people arrived with great momentum. They were even more impressive than the arrival of a supreme king. The person in the lead was wearing a fairness hat and the uniform of the criminal law king. On the surface, he looked like he was in his 40s, but his soul was already 200 years old. This person was the Fairness King, the Criminal Law King. He was a 4th-level Divine Body Realm expert. His strength might even be stronger than Valkyrie Yangshi. Although he wasn't the disciple of the Criminal Law King, he was his loyal henchman. Back then, the two of them entered Golden City together. When Huang Jinding became the Criminal Law King, he became the Fairness King, the Criminal Law King. Behind this old man was a large group of people. Chapter 4710. The 3 Elders of the Punishment Hall. The remaining 12 punishment commanders and almost all of the punishment guards had arrived. It was probably the Punishment King who ordered them to do so. It was obvious that they wouldn't give up until they killed Ling Xiao. Punishment Hall is handling a case. All unrelated people, please leave. One of the punishment commanders shouted. Even for the punishment commanders, there was a difference in strength between them. Lin Hong could only be considered average among the punishment commanders. The one who shouted was obviously close to breaking through to the 3rd level of the divine body realm. He could break through at any time. It was no wonder that the Fire Emperor didn't want to fight with the Punishment King, even though he didn't like him. Although the Punishment King wasn't as strong as the Fire Emperor, he had many experts under him. Especially after he took control of the Punishment Hall, many genius martial artists were recruited by him. It was no wonder he was so arrogant. Ling Xiao, I'm the King of Justice, the Punishment Hall Master. What happened? The King of Fairness's gaze landed on Ling Xiao with a tinge of coldness and mockery. Obviously, he already knew what was going on. The reason he asked this question was clearly to suppress Ling Xiao with his imposing manner. It was a pity that he had miscalculated. Are you asking me? Ling Xiao retorted coldly. This prince hasn't questioned you about this matter yet. What kind of attitude is this? Could it be that you, the Punishment Hall Master, ordered me to kill you? Others could accuse others, but so could Ling Xiao. What was the big deal? It was all based on his mouth. Black could be said to be white, and the dead could be said to be alive. Presumptuous! How dare you talk to the King of Justice like that? The first punishment commander shouted angrily, "You're the presumptuous one. How dare you talk to me like that? The position of a prince is equal to that of a supreme king. Even your hall master should be polite when he sees me. You're just a small punishment commander, yet you're so arrogant. It seems like there's a big problem with the punishment hall." Ling Xiao's voice was louder than the other parties. His voice contained a terrifying amount of soul power. The first punishment commander's face turned pale. My goodness, why do I feel like it's the other way around? Instead of the punishment hall interrogating Ling Xiao, it's Ling Xiao interrogating the punishment hall? In the crowd, many martial artists were flabbergasted. They had originally thought that Ling Xiao would be in trouble, even with the Flame Emperor's protection. There was some sympathy and pity in his heart. But from the looks of it, it seemed that Ling Xiao was not afraid at all. What was going on? How arrogant! After seeing his subordinates suffer, Ling Xiao still wanted to cause trouble for the punishment hall. How could the King of Fairness tolerate this? In any case, there was the Punishment King on the Fire King's side blocking. He completely had a chance to kill Ling Xiao. He naturally knew the specifics better than anyone else. It was just that he did not expect Ling Xiao to actually have such powerful strength. He was able to kill Lin Hong, but that was the end of it. He didn't believe that Ling Xiao wouldn't die if he personally made a move. As he spoke, a terrifying aura suddenly engulfed Ling Xiao. This aura was like that of a ferocious beast. It could make most martial artists below the third level of the divine body realm vomit blood. Ling Xiao also vomited blood. He even retreated a few steps, blood spraying all over the ground. However, there was no trace of fear on his face. Instead, he sneered. Just now, he could actually replace his sovereign physique to block the attack. But he did not. The reason why he did so was to raise his cultivation as soon as possible. If his original body did not reach the divine body realm, he would always be controlled by others. It was a headache. The Fair Punishment King's aura attack was dozens of times stronger than Lin Hong and the rest's combined attack. The energy in Ling Xiao's cultivation increased by 20%. It reached 70%. This mouthful of blood was not spilled in vain. Fair Punishment King, how dare you! Seeing that Ling Xiao was injured, the Flame Emperor became anxious. He roared and was about to charge over. However, he was stopped by the Punishment King. Today, the Punishment Hall will judge Ling Xiao. No one can stop it. Although he was no match for the Flame Emperor, the gap between them was not that big. Therefore, it was almost impossible for the Flame Emperor to get rid of the Punishment King in a short time. It's just a small injury. Don't panic, Flame Emperor. Ling Xiao wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and sneered at the Fair Punishment King. Punishment Hall's Commander Lin Hong tried to kill me. As the Hall Master, not only did you not guard your subordinates strictly, but you also attacked me. Instead, he dared to attack me. I'll remember this. There's no need for the Punishment Hall to exist anymore. In the future, it's more suitable for sovereigns to control the laws of the Golden City. All of you must die. I, Ling Xiao, am a despicable person. I'm sure all of you know the consequences of offending a despicable person. He's too arrogant. He's too arrogant. Everyone felt that Ling Xiao was too domineering and arrogant. Even the Flame Emperor did not dare to say that he would destroy the Punishment Hall. However, Ling Xiao dared to do so. The Punishment Hall Master sneered. You only dare to say that because you're the Emperor's son, but it's a pity. According to the rules of the Golden City, even if the Emperor's son commits a crime, we can't let him off. Today, you slaughtered the law enforcers of the Punishment Hall. On account of your status as the Crown Prince, I will let you off. Since you're the Emperor's son, we can't kill you. However, you can avoid death but you can't escape punishment. Moreover, your attitude is unreasonable, and you have no regard for the law. You're simply arrogant. We must punish you severely. Otherwise, if we allow you to do whatever you want, not only will the Golden City be in a mess because of you, even the sovereigns will be disgraced by you. The judgment is as follows. Ling Xiao will be sent to the frost hell and suffer endless cold. As long as the Golden City exists, he can't come out. Do you want to be punished? F***CK, the frost hell. Even if I die, I don't want to go there. Many people in the crowd who sympathized with Ling Xiao shuddered. That's right. That's the most terrifying punishment in the punishment hall. It's better to die. This is obviously targeting the Emperor's son. But our words don't carry much weight. It's useless. We can't change anything. Many people felt that the punishment hall was taking revenge for personal reasons, but they didn't dare to stand out and say it. It was because the punishment hall was too powerful. They couldn't afford to offend them. Ling Xiao smiled and looked at the King of Fairness. If I was a weak and powerless newbie, I would have been ruined by you. It's because of trash like you that the Golden City has declined. I really don't know what the sovereigns are thinking. They actually kept this group of dogs. Still so arrogant. The King of Fairness sneered, but it's useless no matter what you say. Today, no matter what, you will be punished. You dare to touch him. Today, even if I have to sacrifice my life, I will destroy the punishment hall. If a tiger doesn't show its might, do you really think I'm a sick cat? The Flame Emperor was really angry. He finally used the 9-dragon vein Emperor weapon. He forced the Punishment King back. The violent aura suppressed the King of Fairness until he couldn't breathe. He was originally stronger than the Punishment King. With the 9-dragon vein Emperor weapon in his hand, he was even more terrifying. Lord Flame Emperor, are you really going to violate the Golden City's laws? The King of Fairness frowned. Flame Emperor, why are you angry? Can this group of trash be stronger than the Dragon Emperor of the Deep Sea Dragon Domain? When the Flame Emperor was angry, Ling Xiao was actually quite touched. However, he felt that there was no need. End of chapter. Chapter 47:11. Fire King was stunned for a moment. He was too excited. When he saw Ling Xiao injured, he forgot about what happened in the chaotic Sand Sea. Thinking of Ling Xiao's terrifying strength at that time, he suddenly laughed. Once Ling Xiao unleashed his full strength, even the Punishment King might not be able to suppress him. The Fair King was nothing. That's true. Fire King smiled, a little embarrassed. Ling Xiao looked at the Fair King calmly. I'll stay here today. If your punishment hall can take me away, it'll be my loss. But what happened next, everyone was watching. The Fair King took revenge for personal reasons and tried to harm the Emperor of Gold City. If I kill him, there are laws to follow. When the ancestor asks about it, all of you will have to testify for me. Ling Xiao really treated Gold Sky region as his home. Therefore, he definitely would not allow such a foul thing to happen here. If Gold City wanted to develop the punishment hall, this tumor must be eliminated. Lord Punishment King, Lord Thunder King, I'll have to trouble you to temporarily stop Fire King. If we can't bring Ling Xiao to justice today, I'm afraid Gold City will not have a peaceful day in the future. The Fair King did not take Ling Xiao's word seriously. What he was most worried about was still Fire King. Let me do it. There are no benefits. Thunder King smiled. After all, today's matter has nothing to do with me. Haven't you always liked that thing? I'll give it to you. The Fair King cursed the Thunder King in his heart. But there was no other way. The Punishment King could not stop Fire King alone. He had to add the Thunder King. All right, as long as you're willing, there's no problem. The Thunder King responded and stood together with the Punishment King. Only then did the Fair King heave a sigh of relief. He looked at Ling Xiao and said, Ling Xiao, let's see who can save you today. Attack! He sneered and waved his hand lightly. Two punishment commanders rushed out from behind him and charged towards Ling Xiao. One punishment commander could not kill Ling Xiao. Two should be enough, right? There was really no need for all of them to deal with a mere Ling Xiao. It would make the punishment hall seem useless. Martial Spirit Barrier. Ling Xiao activated his martial spirit barrier the moment the two punishment commanders charged at him, because there were some secrets that he did not want others to know. This was especially true for the eyes of Supreme Kings. How sharp were their eyes! Others might not be able to see the problem, but they might be able to. No one could see what was happening inside the martial spirit barrier from the outside. The only thing people could hear was that the battle inside was very intense. The battle lasted for half an hour. Suddenly there was no sound. At this moment, the martial spirit barrier opened. Ling Xiao carried a corpse in one hand, and it was a shriveled corpse. He threw it at the feet of the King of Fairness. Your subordinates aren't good enough, but I have to thank them. If it weren't for them, my cultivation wouldn't have improved. Although this battle lasted for a long time and Ling Xiao was fighting one against two martial artists at the second level of the Divine Body Echelon realm, it was extremely difficult for him to fight. Fortunately, although it was difficult, the rewards were also extremely bountiful. He actually improved from the 7th level of the Shattered Core Realm to the 8th level of the Shattered Core Realm. His strength increased by 10 times again. With his current cultivation, martial artists at the 1st level of the Divine Body Echelon were no longer a threat to him. He also had a 60% chance of winning against martial artists at the 2nd level of the Divine Body Echelon. However, if he encountered martial artists at the 3rd level of the Divine Body Echelon, his chances of winning were still a pitiful 10 to 20%. It was very difficult. However, it was always good to be able to improve his cultivation. He had to thank the punishment hall. Damn it, I'll kill you. When the other punishment commanders saw that their partners were killed, they were instantly enraged and wanted to kill Ling Xiao. Back off. I'll do it myself. The King of Fairness frowned. He did not know what happened inside the martial spirit barrier. However, he did not want to take any more risks. This Ling Xiao might not be so easy to deal with. He had to be cautious. Only when he did it himself would he have 100% confidence. Haha, the punishment hall is full of trash. Ling Xiao sneered in disdain. King of Fairness, even you are not qualified to kill me. You can't kill me. Ha 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 ha. When the King of Fairness heard this, he could not help but laugh wildly. This Ling Xiao was really arrogant. He actually said that he was not qualified. If he were to make a move, he could capture Ling Xiao alive with one move. I'm not qualified. Who is qualified? The King of Fairness sneered and said, A Supreme King? They are not qualified either. Ling Xiao shook his head and said, If I want to leave, even a Supreme King won't be able to stop me. Lunatic. The King of Fairness confirmed that Ling Xiao had gone crazy. He was purely mentally ill. Don't think that I'll let you off if you pretend to be crazy. The ice hell is very fun. You'll feel it soon. Boom! A terrifying aura suddenly exploded. The King of Fairness was indeed stronger than Valkyrie Yang Shi. Yang Shi could only be considered as a low-level martial artist at the 4th level of the Divine Body Echelon. However, the King of Fairness was definitely a top-level martial artist. It was the feeling of almost advancing to the 5th level of the Divine Body Echelon. He was indeed terrifyingly powerful. However, so what? Ling Xiao quietly changed his Supreme King physique. Supreme King physique, 3rd level of the Divine Body Echelon. Changing and releasing were different. The released Supreme King physique would not be able to use the abilities of the original body. However, a changed Supreme King physique would be able to. Changing was even more terrifying than releasing Supreme King physique. He had prepared everything and was going to kill the King of Fairness here, although he was actually unwilling to do so. He still wanted to save the King of Fairness for his original body to advance. It would be a waste to kill him now. Fortunately, at this moment, the nosy Flower Queen appeared again. Stop immediately! When the Flower Queen appeared, the fragrance of flowers filled the air. The balance was broken. The Flower Queen, Luo Shi, was not the strongest among the 4 supreme kings. However, she was a supreme kingswoman. Just based on this, no one dared to look down on her. However, to be honest, Ling Xiao was a little annoyed by this woman. "Greetings, Flower Queen." Although annoyed, Ling Xiao did not want to offend her. After all, there was no grudge between them. However, this woman was too nosy. He was a little annoyed. The King of Fairness did not dare to offend the Flower Queen. The Fire King was already a headache. If he pushed the Flower Queen to someone else, he would be even more annoyed. "Master Flower Queen, we are trying to capture an important criminal. May I know why you are here?" The King of Fairness was the first to speak. The Flower Queen ignored him. She looked at Ling Xiao and said, "If I did not come, you would have been in trouble today. Sigh, why can't you just behave?" She sighed and said, "Let's go. The Supreme King has something to tell you." "But Master Flower Queen, he is an important criminal," the King of Fairness said again. Ling Xiao felt that this old man was either stupid or too arrogant. The Flower Queen did not want to say anything because she wanted to save face. However, the King of Fairness did not want to let the matter go. He was looking for trouble. As expected, the Flower Queen slapped the King of Fairness in front of everyone. This slap was not light at all, causing the Fair King to distort 360 degrees in the air. End of chapter. Chapter 47:12. Huang Jinding, keep your dogs under control. The Venerable Sovereign knows what the Punishment Hall has been doing all these years. He doesn't say anything, but that doesn't mean he doesn't know. Everyone knew who was in the right and who was in the wrong in today's matter. It would not look good if the matter was made clear. The Crown Prince is the Venerable Sovereign's most important guest. Even the Venerable Sovereign has to be polite to him. Yet you dared to make a move to kill him? The ignorant are fearless. Does the Punishment Hall really not plan to continue? The Flower King's cold voice sent chills down Huang Jinding's spine. The Fair King trembled. The Venerable Sovereign hadn't shown up for 100 years, but the Fair King had seen the Venerable Sovereign. He knew how terrifying the Venerable Sovereign was, and he knew the Venerable Sovereign was still alive. If the Venerable Sovereign was pissed off, it would all be over. That's all I have to say. You're on your own now. The Venerable Sovereign has more important things to do. He won't pay attention to you, but don't go too far. Otherwise, the day the Venerable Sovereign shows up will be the day you die. Ling Xiao, let's go. The Flower King flew away. Ling Xiao slowly floated in the air. He looked at the Fair King and said, "I'll say it again. I'm going to destroy the Punishment Hall. No one can stop me. The City of Gold won't be safe with you here." The Flower King almost vomited blood when he heard that. CK, your sister. I just scared them to not act recklessly. But aren't you trying to provoke them to deal with you? What an arrogant brat. She didn't know that even if she didn't show up, Ling Xiao wouldn't be in trouble. Only the Punishment Hall would be the unlucky ones. Did the Venerable Sovereign invite him to deal with the Punishment Hall? Some people in the crowd were talking about it. That's possible. Otherwise, why would Ling Xiao attack the Punishment Hall as soon as he arrived in the City of Gold? If that's the case, the Punishment Hall will be in trouble. Those people were talking carefully. They didn't dare to raise their voices. After all, ordinary martial artists like them shouldn't take sides when they didn't know what was going on. If they stood on the wrong side, they would be finished. However, deep in their hearts, they still hoped that Ling Xiao could win. Bastard! Ling Xiao, you want to destroy our Punishment Hall? Just you wait. King of Fairness touched his face that was slapped. His face was gloomy. The next moment, all of the King of Justice's subordinates gathered in the King of Justice's residence for an internal meeting. However, the Law King did not sit at the head of the table. Sitting there was the young man who had been criticized by Ling Xiao, Yang Fan. Yang Fan's current expression was completely different from his previous indifferent and ordinary expression. Instead, his face was sinister and cold. "Young master, I'm afraid Dizun already knows about our plan?" The Punishment Law King frowned. "No." Yang Fan shook his head. "If that old man knew about this, he would definitely wipe you out personally. But he didn't, which meant that he didn't know. I didn't know that you had already pledged allegiance to my new master, Lotus Flower." So this Yang Fan was the disciple who betrayed Huang Jindi. He was also Huang Jindi's only disciple. 100 years ago, Yang Fan had already cultivated to the second level of the divine physique echelon. His current strength was even more unfathomable. Even the Law King had to admit defeat. The old man isn't a problem. He's already in his twilight years and won't be able to hold on for much longer. Instead, that Ling Xiao is a problem. Yang Fan frowned. "Master Lian Hua once told me to be extremely cautious when I see Ling Xiao. I didn't care before, but today I believe it. He actually saw that something was wrong with me at a glance. This is something that even the Fire King and the Flower King can't do. Is this kid really that abnormal?" The Law King frowned. "Don't underestimate him. You'll die if you do." Yang Fan said, "The first thing I want to tell you today is that I gathered you here. Master Lian Hua has now found his divine, venerable body. He's trying to break the seal and will probably succeed in 3 months at the latest. 3 months later, it will be time for Master to attack the City of Gold. You must find Master's divine physique as soon as possible. The second thing is this Ling Xiao. No matter what means you use, you must try to kill him. If you can't kill him, you must make him get lost and don't hinder our plan. Otherwise, if Lotus Flower gets angry, you should know what will happen." "We understand." The Law King bowed. "All right, let's disperse. In 2 days, I will give you some gifts. With those things, each of your strength will greatly increase. At that time, you will be more confident in killing Ling Xiao." Yang Fan waved his hand. He actually wanted to personally kill Ling Xiao, but he couldn't. Once he made a move, he would inevitably attract the attention of an emperor, which would be even more troublesome. At that time, not to mention the plan couldn't be completed. Even he might lose his life. Although he was much stronger than he was 100 years ago, Huang Jindi wasn't always fooling around. The consequences of underestimating Huang Jindi would be very miserable. At the same time, the Flower King Luo, she had already sent Ling Xiao to the place where Huang Jindi lived. Here, Ling Xiao once again felt his body begin to strengthen. This feeling was really comfortable. He really wanted to stay here for a long time. "Little guy, you really know how to cause trouble." Huang Jindi's voice suddenly sounded. It was still so gentle, like a kind old grandfather. Ling Xiao still pretended not to see him. He bowed and said, "Emperor, you must be joking." "It's not that I can cause trouble. When I was in the world of souls, I met the third emperor once. I was entrusted by him to take care of White Peony. Who knew that I would encounter such a thing? If it were the emperor, what would you do? Is what you said true?" Huang Jindi said in shock. "When the third emperor was in power, our Golden Sky territory developed to the extreme. It can be said that he was also the strongest emperor in history. It's a pity that for some reason he disappeared. I didn't expect him to be in the world of souls." Ling Xiao took out a waste token, which was taken from the old senior's storage ring. The words Emperor Huang Jindi were engraved on it. This waste token itself was a powerful magic treasure, and it was an emperor artifact with 9 dragon patterns. As long as he used it, in the Golden Sky territory, even the current emperor would have to listen to his orders. "If you have this thing, why didn't you take it out before? If you took it out, Even this old man would have to listen to you. Huang Jindi asked doubtfully. Emperor really knows how to joke. If I really did that, I would have been destroyed by Emperor long ago. This thing is a treasure, but also a hot potato. With my strength, I am still unable to unleash its true effect. Ling Xiao smiled and said, Besides, Emperor has been good to me. There's no need to use it. After saying that, Ling Xiao put away the waste token again. His actions today had two meanings. One was to express goodwill, and the other was to warn him. He, Ling Xiao, could definitely do whatever he wanted in the Golden Sky territory, but he was not willing to do so. It wasn't that he didn't dare. He hoped that the Emperor wouldn't interfere in his affairs. Chapter 47:13. You are so scheming at such a young age. I like you more and more. I might as well give you the position of Golden Sovereign. Fire Emperor will definitely support you. Flower Emperor has no opinion on this. As for Thunder Emperor, that guy is greedy for money. As long as you give him some benefits, he will even sell himself. This way, it will be useless for Penal Law King to object. Huang Jindi suddenly said, Aren't you afraid of causing dissatisfaction with those people? Ling Xiao smiled. As far as I know, there are some people in Golden City who are eager for you to make a mistake. Who? Huang Jindi asked. Ancestor, have you seen a young man called Yang Fan? Ling Xiao asked. Yang Fan? What about him? Huang Jindi asked. This person is not simple. Although I can't see his identity, he seems to be very strong. He is definitely plotting something. Ling Xiao replied. How strong? I'm afraid he is stronger than a supreme king. Ling Xiao said, That is indeed a problem. It is a pity that I am currently cultivating a killer move. I can't leave here. This is related to whether I am qualified to injure that lotus flower when the calamity arrives. I am afraid I will have to leave Yang Fan's matter to you. Huang Jindi frowned. Why not Senior Flower Emperor? Flower Emperor is too soft-hearted. I have been with her for so many years. How can I not understand her? Huang Jindi smiled bitterly. You are the most suitable Golden Sovereign in my heart, the most suitable inheritor. No matter how suitable I am, it is useless. Ancestor, you cannot appear now. Some things are not as easy as you think. Forget it. Although I want to use this back door, it seems that it is not possible. Everything will be done according to the rules. I'm determined to get the Golden Sovereign. No one can stop me. Ling Xiao had such confidence because he was strong enough and smart enough. Moreover, he had Huang Jindi's support. If he still could not obtain the position of Golden Sovereign, it would be a bit embarrassing. You are indeed a stubborn child. But this old man has already decided that you will be the next Golden Sovereign. Whether you can stand out in the end or not, the result will be the same. I don't trust anyone else. Only a kid like you could actually survive after facing the lotus flower head-on. That's really rare. Moreover, your thoughts are clear enough. Those old fogies think too much. This old man cannot afford to take the risk. Huang Jindi had set his sights on Ling Xiao. How pitiful are the others? Ling Xiao smiled. There's nothing to be pitiful about. When the catastrophe comes, they will know that it's not easy to be the Golden Sovereign. What's more, this old man's successor is naturally chosen by this old man. The so-called competition was nothing more than a last resort before I chose a successor. Huang Jindi said calmly, Don't disappoint me. Disappointed? That's impossible. Ling Xiao shook his head and said, I didn't become the Golden Sovereign on a whim. I have personally witnessed how terrifying that lotus flower is. If that guy really came to attack the Golden City, this place would definitely become a purgatory. I will absolutely not allow such a thing to happen. Child, this old man has taken a fancy to your fighting spirit. You are not deterred by the opponent's strength. Very good, very good. Huang Jindi was more and more satisfied with Ling Xiao. Di Zun, I have a bold proposal. It depends on whether you dare to accept it. Ling Xiao suddenly said. Speak. Huang Jindi had seen all kinds of storms and waves. How could he be frightened? Where exactly is the lotus flower's Di-Zun physique suppressed? Can it be destroyed now? Ling Xiao asked. Since the crux of the problem was the lotus flower's Di-Zun physique, then if it was destroyed, the lotus flower would not be able to fully recover. It's not that this old man hasn't thought about it, but with the current strength of the 4 regions and 9 worlds, it's impossible to destroy it. Huang Jindi shook his head. That's not necessarily true. Ling Xiao smiled and said, Di-Zun, you also know that I have cultivated the Lotus Flower Sutra like that lotus flower, and I have nurtured the 3 Venerables' physique. As he spoke, Ling Xiao released the 3 Venerables' physique in front of Huang Jindi. It was time to show off his muscles. He had to make Huang Jindi believe that he had the ability to solve this problem. Seeing Ling Xiao's 3 Venerables' physique, Huang Jindi was surprised. This was the first time he saw Ling Xiao release this thing. Ha 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 ha, it seems that Luo Shi is a little nosy. With the strength of your 3 Venerables, defeating the Fair King is a piece of cake. Huang Jindi suddenly laughed. Di-Zun, let's not talk about that now. This junior wants to refine the lotus flower's Di-Zun physique. What do you think of turning it into my strength? Ling Xiao asked. I'm afraid it's a little dangerous. Huang Jindi said. This old man won't hide it from you. The lotus flower's Di-Zun physique is sealed in this great emperor palace. But an emperor weapon obviously can't suppress him. Therefore, there are 108 heavenly dipper, earthly fiend talismans, suppressing the lotus flower's Di-Zun physique. This isn't an ordinary talisman. It's 108 jade talismans. The jade talismans are passed down from ancient times and made from the eternal blood jade that has absorbed the essence of the sun and moon. It's already a powerful emperor weapon with 10 dragon patterns. Therefore, it's called the Eternal Blood Jade Talisman. This is the magic treasure of the 1st generation Golden Sovereign. It has the special effect of suppressing souls and sealing martial spirits. Its quality is not inferior to the Great Emperor Palace. If you want to obtain the Di-Zun physique, you must first become a Golden Sovereign and have the ability to refine this Eternal Blood Jade Talisman for your own use. Eternal Blood Jade Talisman. Emperor weapon with 10 dragon patterns. Ling Xiao currently knew that the emperor weapon with 10 dragon patterns was his reverse god sword. He didn't expect this Eternal Blood Jade Talisman to be the same. The Golden Sky region was indeed the oldest force in the 4 regions and 9 worlds. They actually had such a treasure. He didn't care about the emperor weapon with 9 dragon patterns. If he had too many magic treasures, he would easily become dependent on them. But the emperor weapon with 10 dragon patterns was still very attractive. Refining magic treasures. I love it the most. Ling Xiao said excitedly. Of course, with your ability and the Golden Sovereign waist token in your hand, refining this Eternal Blood Jade Talisman is only a matter of time. But the troublesome thing is that once you refine this treasure, I'm afraid that the Lotus Flower's Di-Zun physique won't be able to suppress it. You also know that the Di-Zun physique contains a quarter of the Lotus Flower soul. If he escapes, it will be a disaster. Huang Jindi reminded. This goes back to the problem we were talking about earlier. Ling Xiao said with a smile. I said that I can refine this Di-Zun physique for myself. Of course I believe you, but you have to understand that if you do this, you will completely anger the Lotus Flower. He might completely transfer his hatred for the Golden Sky region to you. Are you still willing? Huang Jindi made his words even more clear. This was not a small matter. If it was an ordinary person, if they really knew how terrifying the Lotus Flower was, they would probably hesitate for a long time. But Ling Xiao wouldn't. Mobile version website, M. Chapter 47:14. I was wondering what it was. Does Dizun think that I, Ling Xiao, am the kind of person who is afraid of trouble? Ling Xiao sneered and said, I have a blood feud with that lotus flower. Back then he killed me once, although I was lucky enough to survive. But I haven't forgotten this grudge. Even if he doesn't come to kill me, I won't let him go. If someone else said that, I would think that they were overestimating themselves. But if it's you, it's naturally different. Huang Jindi smiled and said, You have such courage, which means that I didn't misjudge you. If Lotus Flower doesn't come after a month, then I'll accompany you to the Eternal Palace. We'll openly marry the princess of the Eternal Palace. There's no need to be so sneaky. We'll be gossiped about. Then I'll thank Dizun in advance. Ling Xiao's face was filled with joy. He also wanted his woman to be able to be in the limelight. If Huang Jindi came with him to escort the bride, that scene would definitely not let Yufeng Hua feel wronged. In the 4 regions and 9 realms, there were probably very few people who had this capital. Now that he had brought Yufeng Hua by his side, to be honest, it was unfair to Yufeng Hua. There was always a feeling of avoidance. Although Yufeng Hua might not care, but Ling Xiao cared. He didn't want his woman to suffer any grievances. Go. When you become the Golden Sovereign, I'll give you the Eternal Blood Jade Talisman. As for how you deal with it, that's your own business. Huang Jindi smiled. Goodbye. Ling Xiao cupped his hands and left the room. Eternal Blood Jade Talisman. Lotus Flowers Dizun body. Just thinking about it was tempting. He seemed to be even more motivated now. When he reached the 90th floor, the Flower King was already gone. Only the Fire King was waiting there. The Fire King was probably worried that the Thunder King and the Law King would do something bad. What did Dizun say to you? The Fire King asked excitedly. Dizun usually didn't summon people easily. Since he had summoned Ling Xiao, it must be something big. Dizun said that he's determined that I'm the Golden Sovereign and won't let me participate in the competition. Ling Xiao said with a smile, but his situation is a bit special right now. Since we can't show ourselves for the time being, I suggest that we play with those people. This can also increase my reputation in Golden City. Great. As long as there was an emperor, no matter what kind of results you achieved, the position of the Golden Sovereign would belong to you. I want to see how the Punishment King looks when he hears this news. It's funny just thinking about it. The Fire Emperor laughed heartily. It's better not to make this matter public for the time being. Tell me, how does the Golden Sovereign compete? Ling Xiao asked. He wanted to use fair and square to crush his opponents one by one, and then take the position of the Golden Sovereign. This left the other party speechless. This rule is a little complicated. Let me put it simply. There were 3 rounds. The first round was grading. The 4 Supreme Kings each chose 30 people and 10 neutral martial artists, making a total of 100 people, voting for the candidates. 1 vote counts as 1 point, and the one with the highest score wins. Wait a minute. What the hell is a candidate? Ling Xiao asked. You think everyone is qualified to compete for the Golden Sovereign? Wrong. First, you have to become a candidate. There are a total of 6 candidates. They are from the Great Emperor Palace, Fire King Palace, Thunder King Palace, Punishment King Palace, Flower King Palace, and neutral martial artists. In theory, other than emperors, anyone could participate. The 4 Supreme Kings could too. But after becoming the Golden Sovereign, they had to give up their identity and authority as a Supreme King. Obviously, the 4 Supreme Kings wouldn't do that. After all, it involved too many benefits. Including me, we will send the best martial artists under us to compete. In my Fire King Palace, the most outstanding one is Bailey Shiwu. This person is Bailey Fingxing's younger brother. He's not young anymore, reaching 180 years old. His cultivation is at the 4th level of the Divine Physique Echelon. The Thunder King Palace would probably send Lei Meng. who is also at the 4th level of the divine physique echelon and is 290 years old. The Punishment King Palace might send Huang Jinyu, the Fair Justice King, or someone else, but they would at least be at the 4th level of the divine physique echelon. The Flower King Palace would definitely send Yang Shi. Among the neutral martial artists, there isn't anyone at the 4th level of the divine physique echelon. It would probably be the Undying King at the 3rd level of the divine physique echelon. This Undying King's cultivation isn't high, but he almost has an immortal body, so you have to be careful. In short, all your competitors are much stronger than you. I understand the candidates and the voting. In this round, I'm afraid I can only try to get points from the neutral martial artists and the Fire King Palace. Don't think about the rest. After all, the candidates are very different. It's already good enough that I'm not behind. Ling Xiao thought about it. That's right, but the Fire King Palace also has Bailey Shu. He will definitely take a part of your votes. After all, you can't be considered a member of the Fire King Palace. It's useless even if I support you, unless the Fire King Palace doesn't send anyone to participate. The Fire King said, "That's not necessary," so as to avoid causing internal strife. Ling Xiao knew that the Fire King Palace wasn't united. If he messed around, it would cause problems instead. On the contrary, if he could win against Bailey Shuo, the Fire King Palace would definitely support him. Therefore, Bailey Shu had to participate. The second round is similar to what you did in the 3000 Hall. The 6 candidates will receive the same mission. They will be graded according to their performance. You don't have to worry about bias. There's a standard for grading, so they won't dare to mess around. Also, the person grading is the D Zun's Golden Guard, with Huang Jinrufeng as the leader. A total of 10 people will be selected. Everyone will be graded. Huang Jinrufeng. How could Ling Xiao forget this person? He had been wondering why he hadn't seen Huang Jinrufeng and the Golden Divine Codex since he came to the Golden City. Now, Huang Jinrufeng was finally going to show up. He was actually the D Zun's Golden Guard. No wonder his strength was so terrifying. The third round is the simplest and most direct battle. If the 6 candidates don't die while carrying out the mission, then the ranking will be decided. It's still 100 points. If you become the champion, you will get 50 points. The second place will get 20 points. The third place will get 10 points. The fourth place will get 8 points. The fifth place will get 7 points. The sixth place will get 5 points. Then, after combining the results of the 3 rounds, whoever has the highest score will be the Golden Sovereign. Ling Xiao carefully analyzed the 3 rounds of the competition. It was actually quite scientific. The first round was completely based on connections, which was a necessary qualification for a leader. Although there were many grading conditions on the surface, those were actually nonsense. The key was still the connections. Of course, this round was the easiest to cheat and one could even bribe. The second round was to test one's ability to do things. A leader couldn't just have connections. One had to know how to do things. The third round was to test one's combat strength. Without combat strength, who would listen to you? It seemed to be a fair competition, but it was actually full of loopholes. As long as you had enough treasures, you could bribe anyone, including your competitors. End of chapter. That you're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.